bond that amplifies unity. We share this beautiful country, where majesty is found in height of rock, expanse of plain, and vastness of sea. It is a place where cold does not dampen the intensity of the game, and soccer from around the world is adopted and celebrated.
No words, man, no words. Dreams come true.
We are a nation of beautiful people, where we and us come from around the world, each a vital part of the colorful fabric we call home. It is a country that has a new common language, with different dialects translated by the strategy of the game. We are witness to beautiful goals, where unbelievable cannot begin to describe what we just saw, and where the unimaginable becomes attainable. It is where pride comes to life on the pitch, respect has been earned, and credibility has been conceived by commitment to the game. This is where passion for one game is paramount. This is where the love for one game is undeniable. This is where one game, and one game only, is found on One Soccer.
Smashed it into the top of the net. And Noah Jensen with a missile. Sanchez lines up the shot. Tristan Borges up. Dyer was looking for it, referee ignored it. Now Zanata. Oh, maybe. They've got to be. Oh, my goodness me. They've turned it on their head. Hugs amongst the visiting bench.
6 goal contributions this season. They open the scoring here. And he puts it on a plate for Aparicio. A resounding and convincing victory for Atletico Ottawa.
It should be a dramatic substitution as the ball is played in. Back into the top two.
Back it's Hundo against his former team. Gives it up. Tunnel heads it to Diaz. An equalizer. No more seconds to be added on.
Buckle up, CPL fans. It's time to do some scoreboard watching. It's the final day of the regular season, and there's plenty to play for. What will the playoff matches be? Who will get the final playoff spot? All teams kicking off at the same time. It's the outcome, and it's on One Soccer. Hello, everyone, and welcome inside our One Soccer studio. The outcome presented by tonybet. Andy Petrillo, Gareth Wheeler, Jordan Wilson with you. This is it. It is the final day of the regular season, and I want to remind you what there is to play for. So all games kicking off at 4 p.m. Halifax, by the way, the only team eliminated from playoff contention. They visit a Yorkside who will finish 4th. But who are they going to face, guys? 5th spot will be fought over today by Pacific, who take on Forge, Vancouver, who play Ottawa, and Valor, who face Cavalry. By the way, Ottawa, Cavalry fighting to finish 2nd. Whoever gets that 2nd place spot, they will face 1st place Forge. So it all began back in April. Here we are now in October, Wheels, and there is still a lot going on.
A bit of a marathon, but it went by like that.
It did.
Time flies when you're having fun. It's been another banner year in the Canadian Premier League, and I think the one thing that stands out more so than anything else is the parity across this league. The fact that only one team has been eliminated from playoff contention, that being Halifax, a team that was a playoff team a season ago, and still plenty of questions to be asked when it comes to the 2-3 as well. Forge, deserved champions of the regular season. They're going to be the favorites once again to lift the North Star Cup, but I think there's been balance across the board. Anyone can beat anyone any given match day.
Absolutely. I think the Canadian Premier League, they deserve a lot of credit for the adjustments that they made. All these games played at the same time. I don't care who you are. And it's how it should be. This is in the top leagues. This is what happens on the last day. So much is on the line. players are going to be coming in at halftime, checking their phone, seeing what's going on.
Will they?
They have to.
Yeah.
I've done this to get promoted. You have to go and check and see what's going on, but you still have to do your part, Andy, which is on the pitch, everything going on, and you can't worry about the other games. You have to make sure that you take care of business on the pitch.
I know a lot of players, a lot of coaches, they're like, we don't know what's going on with those other games.
You check.
No way, of course you do. And someone who's at one of those games, Christian Jack out in Pacific. Rain is coming down behind you. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But KJ, I want to get your thoughts here on the outcome, the final day, because this has to be a dream for the league, knowing that these games matter on the final day.
Yeah, Andy, it's a great point. You talk about the games matter. I mean, the 3 of the games matter today. What does that mean? Well, of 112 regular season games in the Canadian Premier League in 2024, ultimately it'll go down the books as 111 games of meaning, and that's over 99%. And when you see a league grow and you see the development of these players, and the league continues to work on the progress of the young players being developed, it's absolutely crucial. You know, these players that I talk to, these coaches, everybody involved in these clubs, they know that when games matter, and particularly today, you know, these players are even more switched on. So look, I've been out here for about 36 very wet hours, but the feeling amongst everybody, Forge, and in particular this team Pacific, who are the story today, knowing that they can get that 5th spot, is that this is really what it's about. They feel like they're professionals. They should. The league has professionalized this. You can hear what Jordan said. And those of us who've got a deep-rooted passion for the sport in this country can all just have a smile on our faces. A lot of sacrifices, a lot of hard work goes in for a lot of people putting this together today. 4 games at the same time, lots to be decided, and we should be all thankful for that over the next few hours. It should be great. Well, as mentioned, it is coming down, and you said it's been very wet since you arrived there, and that can sometimes make for a very cagey affair. How is the weather going to affect things? Well, I spoke to James Merriman earlier, and he's an island boy, right? I'm not. I just get to visit this beautiful place every now and again. And I asked him, how many times have you had games like this before? He couldn't remember one as wet as this. You know, he could not remember one as this. But, you know, how does it impact the game? Well, I'm looking at the team in purple. For me, Pacific, they know what it's like here. This surface is sudden. It's sudden, and it's going to be fast. So we're going to find out a lot about how the speed of the game impacts it and what to forge up for, right? Ultimately, they've left a lot of players at home. There's a bit of sickness in the camp. You know, the likes of Becker's not here, Ajabapor's suspended, no Ampoma, no Badibanga, amongst others, Para as well. So there's a lot on the line here, and there's a lot favoring the home team. They're used to this. I don't expect caginess. I think if Pacific want this, they'll go out there and they've got to earn it. You mentioned it. Not quite sure how the iPads are going to stay dry on the bench as they look at the other results across One Soccer as they come in. But ultimately, Pacific know they control their destiny, and they've got to win the game. Very big game for Pacific. Thanks, KJ. We'll check in with you a little later on in the show. And another team, of course, who is fighting for that 5th spot, that's Vancouver. They are in the nation's capital, taking on Atletico Ottawa. For more on that, let's head to the 2 gentlemen who are calling this one. That would be Adam Jenkins and John Conway.
Absolutely thrilled to be here on the pitch with the outcome finally here after weeks of anticipation. John Conway, you went out for a nice walk this morning. I went out for a run along the Rideau Canal, and we're just enjoying these 19-degree temperatures. Perfect day for football. We're not stressed. I think Carlos Gonzalez and Afshin Gatbi might have a little bit more pressure on their shoulders. We know they both need to win this game to have the playoff outcome that they desire, but is there a team that needs this just a little bit more?
Yeah, for me, in my opinion, it's just simple. Vancouver, this game means a lot more because their playoff implications are on the line. They need to get the win, have a little help to boost themselves into the playoff position and be able to continue their season.
So it's an interesting catch-22, these games for Vancouver, because Ottawa knows that they're in the playoffs. Vancouver needs that just to get to the dance. But you have to be pragmatic, don't you? You can't go guns blazing right from the beginning. So how do the Eagles manage this to make sure they stay in and give themselves a chance to win?
And we were lucky enough to talk to Afshin Gatbi yesterday, and he mentioned this, and he said, we're going to defend first, we're going to limit the time and space, then we're going to look to create chances. Listen, over the last 2 games, that's sort of the method that they went with. And it's worked for them. They've gotten better and better in those matches. Last week in the second half, they made some substitutions, and they were more aggressive. In those last 25 minutes, they were spectacular, getting tons of chances and tying up the game. So I think you're going to see a lot of that today. On the other hand, for Ottawa, how do you break them down? What are you going to do to be able to do this? So I think they need to be smart, and when they step out, smart in how they press, smart in how they get in the attack to be able to not get opened up to create that many more chances for Vancouver.
Ottawa know already that they'll be hosting a playoff game here at TD Place, but they're also coming in off one of the best performances we've seen from them all season long. They know how to score again, they know how to be brave, they know how to be confident, and that second place might just be within their grasp, Andy.
What a juxtaposition in weather, by the way, between seeing KJ and we got Jenkins going for a run along the Rideau Canal. But yes, here are the playoff scenarios. So they can clinch second place, Ottawa with a win, and Cavalry draw or lose to Valor. Vancouver, though, they just want to get in. To clinch that 5th place spot, they need to win, and they also need Pacific to draw or lose versus Forge. So let's take a look at Atletico Ottawa's starting 11 here. Up front, Del Campo, Salter. We know Del Campo right now leading the way in the Golden Boot race. That'll be pretty exciting as well. See if he can pick up anything here. But when it comes to, Atletico, they're coming off a really big performance, as we know, Wheels, because they ended up beating Forge. So really keeping themselves in that conversation for second place. What are you expecting here?
Well, I'm a little bit surprised that there are changes in the starting 11. There was one forced change with Luke Singh suspended through card accumulation today, but there's 3 changes in this 11, including Balou Tabla coming out of the team. Jordan, I'm going to take your words, what you said after last week's game. It was Atletico Ottawa's best game of the season.
Hands down.
2-0 at Forge. This was a team that's been limping towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, this is only their 2nd win in their last 8 games. And having played so well and seemingly coming up with a proper mix, I am a little bit surprised that Tabla is out of the team. That one sticks out to me here.
Yeah, rightfully so. I thought he was excellent last week. I thought the chemistry and fluidity between Atletico Ottawa, specifically midfielders and attackers, were dynamite. I will say Forge weren't at their best last week, but Ottawa didn't make it easy for them. We have to talk about the nucleus, which is the middle. Sissoko, Aparicio, Bassett. I am so glad Carlos Gonzalez didn't change that, Andy, because if he did, I'd be wondering why. It was the best Atletico Ottawa performance we've seen all year, and he's getting the most out of his best players. So Tabla coming off the bench, we'll see if that works. I understand that you have to play Salter because he was exceptional last week, but a guy like Balou Tabla, he's a pain to play against. I would start him if I were him.
You have to win this game, and there's been calls over the season to play both Salter and Del Campo at the same time. 2 kind of number 9s, 2 up top, and he's doing so today in a much different way in a must-win game. So it's intriguing to me. They might, just a reminder, might be playing without Luke Singh come playoff time if he's handed supplementary additional punishment to an incident where there was a punch thrown in last week's game. So big spot for a young defender in Tier Walker to play alongside one of the top defenders in the Canadian Premier League in Amir Didic across the back line.
And you would hope as well the confidence spills over from the game against Forge because, by the way, the 2 goals they got came before Forge got the red card. So it's not like they got it with Forge being a man down. Let's hear from the coaches now, beginning with Carlos Gonzalez.
And it's easier said than done, but you know you need to win this game and have some results go your way for that second spot. But you're also kind of sitting in a good spot knowing you'll get a home game in the playoffs. As a coach, how do you find that balance of searching for the 3 points without leaving yourself exposed and perhaps even losing this game and taking that second spot off the table?
Well, I don't think that we should look too much at the 3rd position. I think we're hungry. I think we are an ambitious team, and we want to fight today to be in the 2nd position. If finally we cannot do it because Calgary wins his game, well, we will take it. But our focus is in doing a good game, in winning the 3 points, and also I think it's the best way to finish the regular season.
Afshin, you've been around the world, you've played in these big matches, you've coached these big matches. What does it take when the pressure is on the line to get the guys motivated without getting them too much in their own heads?
Well, it's all about embracing the pressure, and it's all about, in my opinion, enjoying the moment. I think as a professional, you prepare for these days, and you actually look forward to these days because it brings the best out of you. And I think our players are excited because for the last 2 years, we've sacrificed so much to be in a position to be able to earn a playoff spot. And I think it's a very exciting day for the league and also for our franchise.
So here's a look now at Vancouver starting 11. This team winless in their past 7, 0-3-4 their record. They are trailing Pacific by 2 points. So they're still in this race miraculously. They're going to need some goals from Diaz here. He's proven he can score. They're going to need a win. Is it too much to say, or are you in agreement that if they don't make the playoffs, Jordan, it's considered a failure?
It's tough because I think with 7, 8, and 12, that's their record. They have only Halifax have won less games than them with 6 this season. They started hot. They made me believe. You reminded me the other day that I thought they were going to score the most goals, which they clearly did not.
Nope. That's only one prediction you got wrong all year, my
fair,
friend.
but one where basically I'm trying to say is that they started this season hot and they've dipped. If they do make it and they do manage to get a win today and limp into the playoffs, I think that's a true success. But if they don't make it, I feel like they've been average for the good majority of the year, Wheels.
You're looking at Afshin Ghapi here. I really like him, but the responsibility is going to lay at his feet if the team doesn't make it into the playoffs. They're the worst team point-wise over the last 8 games of the season. They've only won once out of their last 8, twice out of their last 10. He's chopping and changing every week. There's no continuity in who he plays, in how he plays. And the unfortunate thing in it all, he's played as experienced players. There's some very good young players that haven't got and received an extended look this year as well. So I think it would be a huge setback for this very young club if they don't make the playoffs this year. It's been a case of who's going to go out and get it. And Vancouver were leading the pack up until last week, still in that 5th and final playoff spot. And now it's beyond their control here today. All they can do is come out and potentially put on a performance, but there's very little over the last 2 months that would suggest to me that they're capable of doing that here today.
They're going to need help even if they pull off a victory, but at the end of the day, in order to win, you got to score some goals. So how important is Diaz here?
Yeah, he's the guy. He's been the guy to step up, and I think just the quality that he has always gives him a chance. You see last week as well, where he just has that bit over strikers, over defenders to just put the ball in the back of the net. I will say to Wheels' point about Afshin Ghapi is, I feel as oftentimes, I know it's difficult to be a manager because you have to balance all these young men and injuries and who's the right selection for the week. But the fact that I feel like Afshin Ghapi has focused a little bit too much this season on that match at hand. You have to think about pairing, chemistry, who really can step up, motivate one guy, stroke this guy's ego, make sure that there's balance within the squad. I think that playing into moments has been to his detriment, but now, Wheels, this is the biggest moment, finding that 11, 12, 13 players that you need to go and produce, and maybe they can get it done for him.
But they've been risk adverse. Even today's 11 is very defensive in nature. They go out and trade Moses Dyer. He alongside Wero Diaz to start the season were on fire. They trade him to bring in Eamon Salouf. Maybe can be a little bit more of a catalyst from an attacking perspective. Can't get off the bench, Andy. Even last week, I thought they played great in the second half. Once he released the hounds, took off the harness to a certain degree here. I do think there's talent in this team, but 5 goals scored in your last 8 games?
Not good enough.
With that kind of attacking talent in the team, it's nowhere near good enough. Both teams, in fairness, have played safe. Far too safe over the last month of the season. So are either one of these sides willing to take off the safety belt here today?
Yeah, because some of these players that we're going to show you right now, they haven't scored in a while either, but they are in the Golden Boot race, and 2 of them are going to be going head-to-head here. And, Ruben Del Campo with Ottawa, and Diaz, who we've just been talking about, is trailing him by 1, representing Vancouver. So Reshevsky in that conversation with Cavalry, and then you have Brian Wright and Dan Nimick, who are down there. But, yeah, this will be fun to see who's going to get the Golden Boot for this year. But let's take a look now at the tonybet lines for Atletico Ottawa hosting Vancouver. Wheels, what's your play?
Understruck, under 2.5 at +112. These teams just don't show that they can score enough goals on a regular basis.
Watch this be a 4-3 thriller last day, right?
I would love that.
I would love it.
I'll happily be wrong.
Oh, I'll take it.
I'll take all kinds of goals, that's for sure. All right, so we got you set up there for Vancouver, Ottawa. We have 3 other games to get you set up for, and that will include Valor Cavalry. Cavalry, the other team, going up against Ottawa here for that 2nd spot in the standings to have that chance to play in the 1-2 game in the playoffs. Why does that matter? Because the winner of that goes straight to the final. Stay with us. It's The Outcome on One Soccer.
At tonybet, get treated like a VIP. Bet on live games with odds on all sorts of sports. That's what you get when you bet with tonybet. Bet.
Don't miss the Canadian Premier League final, Saturday, November the 9th at 3 p.m. Eastern, live on CBC.
Degree, 72-hour non-stop protection. Antiperspirant with motion sense. Tested to the limit. Degree, keeps working when others stop.
What makes a Burnbrae egg a Burnbrae egg? For generations, we've put more goodness in, so you get a whole lot more out of every single delicious egg. A lot goes into a little at Burnbrae Farms.
Oh, Carol! Always the earliest holiday shopper.
It's Holly. Uh-oh.
You know who's gonna win?
Holly.
Carol.
What?
Carol.
No, Holly.
Get out of here.
Welcome back to The Outcome presented by tonybet. The final day of the regular season in the CPL. Perfect weather as well in Winnipeg as Valor gets set to host Cavalry. For more on this matchup, here's Nigel Reed and Oliver Platt.
Well, Ollie, you can't spell Winnipeg without a win. We know Valor has to do just that. They need help from elsewhere. But the question is, can they take care of their own business and give themselves a chance?
Yeah, I think it's a long shot, to be honest with you, to get everything they need and the stars to align today. But I do think with this Valor team, you have to give them some credit for being in the mix today. You know, this had a transition season written all over it when you bring in 14 players. You start with 8 consecutive road games to start the season. And I think the way they've turned this season around to still be in the mix, to still be alive on the final day of the regular season, you have to give them some praise to that. They made a system change in the middle of July, an away game against Atletico Ottawa. They switched to the 4-4-2 they're going to play today. Since then, they're the third points per game form team in the CPL. So there's something here. There's a lot of core players under contract for next year that I think they're going to take into 2025. It's just a case of, is it come too soon for the playoffs this season, or can they pull off a minor miracle today?
When I think of Cavalry, I think of consistency. There's no doubting their pedigree, and they have something to play for themselves. A win sorts out where they finish, gives them that easier path in the playoffs.
Yeah, plenty of incentive for them, and this is the big challenge for Valor today, is that this Cavalry side, you know, they're well tested against teams fighting for playoff position. Their last 3 games, Vancouver, Pacific, Halifax, knocked Halifax out last weekend and have taken 7 points from a possible 9 in those 3 games. They've only lost 1 in their last 13, which is away at Forge. So it's a massive task for Valor, but I think for this Cavalry team, you look at the past couple of games in particular since Jay Herdman's come into the starting lineup, it really feels like the final piece of the puzzle for them. They look as balanced and as in form as they have been at any point during the year.
Look forward to their call. So here's a look at the playoff scenarios. Valor's going to need a lot of help here in order to clinch that 5th place. So they'll have to win, but then they also need Vancouver draw or lose to Ottawa. And by the way, they're going to need Pacific to lose for Forge. A lot of stars are going to have to align there. Could happen. So you're saying there's a chance. For Cavalry, in order to get second, they need to win, or if they draw or lose versus Valor, Atletico Ottawa needs to draw or lose to Vancouver. Or let's go to Cavalry now, sorry. This is their starting 11. Reshevsky, we just saw him in the Golden Boot race there. A goal, he'll end up tying Del Campo. And with Cavalry, the big talk here, Jordo, of course, has been, are they the ones who can dethrone Forge? We know they're making the playoffs. Whether it's the second spot that they can hold on to, or at some point there's a feeling they'll face Forge. Can they do it? Is this the year they can do it?
I mean, I think so. I think with this bench, they probably are the strongest team. You saw Wright. You saw Lowell Wright as well on the bench. You saw Volling. They have players that can come off and do damage. You have Trafford on the bench. Look at this lineup. Camargo in the team feeling fit. Musi has been a handful since he's come back from injury. Warcheski is probably, for me, the striker in the league that I wouldn't want to play against. He's a guy that can score from distance, get in the box, get in dangerous areas. Jay Herdman's been a great addition. What I'm trying to say is Calgary have numbers. On a day where must win, they have weapons. I can guarantee you right now, Forge fans don't want to see Ali Musi come to Tim Hortons Field. They don't want to see this team try to play. I will say Forge is still the best team, but Calgary, for me, Wheels is number 2.
There's a couple changes to that starting 11. Camden's in at left back, Field is out, but largely it's the front three that has turned around this team's luck. It's turned around their season. Andy, what's the expression? Timing is everything. This is Cavs season. This was a team legitimately 2 months ago. We were saying, do they have enough to make the playoffs? Now they look the team that's most likely to go up against Forge in a potential Canadian Premier League final again. Ali Musi is the most valuable player in the Canadian Premier League. He's only going to be able to play about 16 games on the season, which probably isn't enough to win that award, Andy. But for me, no player, the success of their team is predicated on the play of one player more than it is Ali Musi on Cavalry. He is that good. Warshevsky, healthy now. Jay Herdman, savvy pickup. That left side of the field has been a big problem. He solidified that. Charlie Trafford available off the bench. Cobb's available on the bench. All of a sudden, you look at this team, they're as deep as they've been all season, which tells me that they're prepared to make a deep playoff run.
And Andy, we didn't even talk about Klump and Aird. We can spend a lot of time on those two as well. We give a lot of love to midfielders and the strikers that inevitably change games. But those two, for me, they deserve a lot of credit for Calgary's success this season.
And it was probably just past the halfway point of the season, too, where they really started to round out into form. Slow start. I legitimately thought we were going to be sitting here on the outcome and say, are they on the outside looking in? Yeah, but no, they've put themselves in a position to finish second. Let's hear from the coaches, beginning with Tommy Wilden Jr.
Tommy, I know a lot of eyes will be on Valor in their playoff chase today, but you've got plenty to play for as well. How much of an incentive is it to have that chance to potentially host the CPL final?
Of course, listen, that's what we're in it for. We wanted to finish. I love the league table. You know, I'm a purist, so you want to finish as high as possible. For us, that's finishing in second place at this point. But, you know, given on the back end of the season, we've been very, very good, so we've got to carry on with that. You know, Valor, very similar to Halifax last week, they're going to play with some gusto, they're going to play with some skill, they're going to put their best effort forward. That puts us in good stead. We want to play against people's best, and we're hoping for a really good game.
Phil, last day of the regular season, 4 games kicking off at the same time. What would it mean to be able to pull this off for Valor today?
Yeah, excitement, a lot of excitement. I think that just the thought that, you know, there's a possibility, and we'll see where we're at in a few hours. You know, it's an exciting moment. We just have to believe. We have to focus on the process, focus on the game itself, and go all the way. Go all the way. That's how we see it.
Well, as you saw there in the scenarios, they need a win and they need a lot of other things to happen as well. Valor's starting 11 here of the original teams to have kicked off 2019 CPL. Valor's the only one that has yet to see the postseason. Can they do it? Can they do it, Wheels? What have you seen from them?
They're tough today. Honestly, it's been a valiant effort by Valor to get back in this thing. The story of their season, new field at Princess Auto Stadium. They played their first 7 games away from home. They got smashed in the Canadian Championship by Ottawa. This team looked like they were done. They were buried, and they weren't getting out of it. They put themselves midway through the season in a really good position. The problem is, every game here down the stretch, good performances, draw. They've drawn 5 of their last 8
maybe
games.
not going their way.
Well, the game against Ottawa is an absolute backbreaker, the late penalty that was given to Atletico Ottawa that robbed them 2 points. If they'd picked up those 2 points, then we might be in a different scenario. But they've had other chances. Like last week in a 1-1 draw against Vancouver, in what we called it a must-win, they look completely out of gas. So you just question right now whether there's enough in this team to get them over the line here. They need help. They're playing at home. They're the one team that's playing for that 5th and final playoff spot that's playing at home today. Interesting that Reza Rousseau and Quemi are both out of the starting 11 here today as well. For Phil DeSantos, he's tinkered. The squad's a little bit deeper, but those 2 players on the bench to me surprised me because they've been 2 of their best players over the last few months.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. Maybe that he's going that discipline route, I would say, with that midfield 3, keeping O'Heen and Dante Campbell and Mla, who's been an excellent pickup coming from CS St. Laurent mid-season. Valor, this is do or die. It's gut check time. Obviously, I'm stating something that's already in the air, and they know that. But you see with this team, they're so likable. So many players that you want to cheer for and root for. This man specifically, Dante Campbell, has played right back, left back, played in the middle. He's done it all for his team. And even speaking to them, this is all they've wanted: a 5th place spot, a chance at the dance to go in and do it. Today's it. You got to do your part, Wheels, and get that win, and then hope that the football gods take care of everything else.
It wasn't just that start of the season away from home. They brought in like 14, 15 new players.
Yeah.
Now you're seeing the group come together. Mortakudis and Facineri at center back have been excellent. They arguably have the best left back and a player that will have a lot of consideration in Defender of the Year, and Temi Antonoglu, who's been outstanding at that position. So they have some interesting pieces here. Again, good performances, that's fine, but they haven't just won enough games to take it over the line.
TonyBet lines as we take a look at this matchup here. What are you going with, Wheels?
I have a hard time thinking that Cavalry's not going to win this. Valor only ever beat them 3 times over the course of their history. So Cavalry's been thoroughly dominant, including the games this season. Got to back Cavalry to win at -122.
I would agree with you. I can't argue.
All right, so you could.
I'd lose.
That argument.
So these are 2 things we know. Forge is going to finish first, and York is going to finish 4th. But who will their opponent be? Because York will face the 5th place team. I like that. You got Pacific, Valor, Vancouver. Hey, who did that logo? Good on you. Nice little shout out putting those 3 together. It's the hybrid, the tri-bread. Versus, that'll happen on Wednesday, October 23rd. And we're going to talk about York's matchup because they too are in action today against Halifax, the only team officially eliminated from playoff contention. You are watching The Outcome here on One Soccer, presented by TonyBet.
Hey, let's go somewhere beachy. I don't like sand. What? What about Cancun sand? It's so soft. Or maybe Caribbean white sand. Sure. Ooh, Costa Rican sand. It's got dolphins.
Costa Rica, then?
Yeah, Costa Rica.
Good choice.
It was all him.
With over 50 sunny destinations to choose from, we have a flight for that.
WestJet is a proud sponsor of the Canadian Premier League.
This ultimate mouth-watering moment is brought to you by the big, bold, ultimate taste of Ultimate Chicken Hot Dogs, only from Maple Lodge Farms.
Oh, Carol! Always the earliest holiday shopper.
It's Holly. Uh-oh.
You know who's gonna win?
Holly.
Carol.
What?
Carol.
No, Holly.
Get out of here.
Volkswagen, the official automotive partner of the Canadian Premier League.
This one is for you.
Beautiful weather in Halifax as well as they get set to host York United. Halifax has known for a while now that they are not going to be making the playoffs, but York, they know, and they've known for a while too, they've been in 4th. They just don't know who their opponent is, and this is their starting 11. This has got to be a tricky game, Jordan, only because you want to, keep your rhythm going. You want to make sure you're ready for the playoffs, but you're also taking on a team that's not going to be making the playoffs. You don't want to risk any kind of injury. I can imagine all the things that just start to go through your head when you think of this final game.
Yeah, you start to chop and change. One that you have to talk about is Elijah Adekugbe. He's been a mainstay for York United ever since Benjamin Mora has come to the squad. And honestly, in my opinion, has built the team around him in some respects. Someone who sits and plays passes forward. But I think the big one today, Wheels, has to just be the fact that Mo Babooli's back in the lineup and hasn't played since September 28th against Forge and has come out with a back injury. The fact that I will say it's a bit of a risk to go and play him when you have a big match that matters on Wednesday. But then there are people also saying you need to go and test it. You need to go and see what he's capable of. If you go and maybe play and wait for Wednesday and he plays 20 minutes and comes out with a back injury, you're like, maybe you should have tried him earlier. So I don't know how people feel about that one.
You got to test him now. Saturday, Wednesday isn't that difficult. You're playing at home. Like, look, this team, their season was derailed. They went from a contender for the Canadian Premier League Shield to a team that settled into that 4 spot. This has been a disappointing final 10 games. They've lost 5 times, and they've only scored 7 goals in the last 10 games. It's not just Babooli. He needs to give it a go today. No Babooli, no party, no chance for York United on Wednesday, no matter who they play. Frank Stirring on the bench today. He's been out for a long time. Noah Botnay, they've missed those 2 center backs.
Absolutely.
They've lost the complete spine of this team, Jordan. They need these players on the field to show their manager, Benjamin Mora, whether they can contribute come playoff time. So for me, this is a big game for York to get some of these players reacclimated. No Ferrari, that might be proceeding with caution a little bit because he's played like almost every minute of the season, but I think it's a balancing act today for Benjamin Mora.
And I will be the one to say this because the team will never say it, and why would they? I mean, they want more. They want to go out and win. But I have to say, when you make a coaching change, when you make ownership change, they're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's a solid year. Of course, they're going to say that's not enough.
Something
Rightfully
to
so.
celebrate.
Exactly. That's what they're going to say, but it is still something to celebrate. For Halifax, we know that there's going to be work to do, especially in the off season, because what does that look like? A lot of these players will probably be auditioning for spots next year. But if you were to look at maybe some of the players to build around Wheels, what are you thinking with Halifax?
Most disappointing team in the Canadian Premier League by far. They started the season with 4 straight losses, and they've been petulant, and there has been nowhere near enough leadership in this team. And they're playing 3 players who are under 21 today, the team that has played the fewest under 21 minutes in the Canadian Premier League. The players that I believe going forward you can build around, this man right here, Sean Rea, I kind of feel for him a little bit. He jumped on a moving train that was kind of spinning out of control to a certain degree. We know his quality both here in Major League Soccer, what he can bring to the table. And Nassim Mekadech at center back, I honestly think, give him a full season in the Canadian Premier League, he can be one of, if not the top center back in this league. He has been that good since he stepped in. It's been a difficult year, sophomore slumps for players like Nimick, Caligari, and Farron. They've been disappointing, but I think these 2 newcomers give a reason to believe that this turnaround can come quickly next year for Halifax.
Yeah, Patrice Geyser wanted some players to come and buy in and change the environment a little bit too late. But Mekadech and Ray I think, are class players to start with. I have to also go with Nimick and Farron, who are outstanding. Andy, last season, they finished 3rd, but they were second on points. Like, this team, this is why we're being hard on them, is they finished 8th, and they should have finished much higher in the table. But there are players that they just didn't come up and show up for the season. So I think with Patrice Geyser, there's some players you got to ask some questions about moving forward.
Yeah, it's always a little disappointing when you finally make the playoffs. For the first time ever, you host a home playoff game, and then the following year, you're out of the conversation. But when it comes to the tonybet lines, what's your pick here, Wheels?
I think Halifax will try to reward what has and continues to be an outstanding fan base, lots of support in Halifax. I'll back a Halifax win in this one. I think the performance is more important than the result for York United here.
You know, I don't think Halifax are winning. I think it's either York or a draw. And I'm going to say today I don't want any draws. So York.
No, we don't want draws. We also want a great game on October 25th. By the way, the Canadian women will be back on the pitch. They'll be taking on the reigning World Cup champions, Spain. October 25th, 2:45 p.m. ET, international friendly, right here on One Soccer. We've taken you through 3 of the 4 matchups, so when we come back, it's the 4th and final matchup. Forge, who we know are the CPL Shield winners, will be taking on Pacific, who currently are renting 5th spot. They don't own it yet. They want to own it. We'll get you set for that match next. The outcome on One Soccer by tonybet.
tonybet. At tonybet, get treated like a VIP. Bet on live games with odds on all sorts of sports. That's what you get when you bet with tonybet. Bet.
Don't miss the Canadian Premier League final, Saturday, November the 9th at 3 p.m. Eastern, live on CBC.
Degree, 72-hour non-stop protection. Antiperspirant with motion sense. Tested to the limit. Degree, keeps working when others stop.
What makes a Burnbrae egg a Burnbrae egg? For generations, we've put more goodness in, so you get a whole lot more out of every single delicious egg. A lot goes into a little at Burnbrae Farms.
Oh, Carol! Always the earliest holiday shopper.
It's Holly. Uh-oh.
You know who's gonna win?
Holly.
Carol.
What?
Carol.
No, Holly.
Get out of here.
It's the outcome presented by tonybet right here on One Soccer. The final day of the regular season. All four teams kicking off at 4 p.m. ET. That includes Pacific Forge. And when KJ first arrived last night, it was still raining. As you can see, the clouds still hovering over the island. This is what he had to say in his first impressions of this matchup.
2024 has already seen a remarkable rise for the sport in this country. On Saturday, another chapter will be written as the Canadian Premier League's final four games are played at the same time. After 108 games, 27 weeks, where over 450,000 fans will have come through the gates, we have one more day. I have made my way here to a wet Vancouver Island to see Pacific FC, who are in fifth place, take on league winners Forge FC. For the first time though, Forge are not quite the story in this one. Of all the scenarios and storylines to play out on Saturday, the biggest of them all lies here with James Merriman's Pacific FC. Champions in 2021, semi-finalists in 2022 and 2023, they hold the fifth and final playoff spot with both Vancouver and Valor hoping to steal it from them. Fittingly, if they want it, they have to come through this side in Langford, BC to take it from them. It's not been an easy year for this team. Separate winless streaks of 7 and 5 games show struggles that began in the summer of 2023 when they were the top of the league. Since then, 46 points from 43 games show the inconsistencies. Yet despite the losses of a key core of champions such as Marco Bustos, Alejandro Diaz, Amir Didic and Manny Aparicio, one thing that is abundantly clear about this group is their mentality and spirit in big moments. Performances in CONCACAF, CPL playoffs, and the Canadian Championships, where they were semi-finalists again this year, speak to that. And as they trained here for one last time before the outcome on Saturday, you can sense those experiences fuel them to do it again.
So here are the playoff scenarios for these two teams. Pacific will clinch fifth spot with a win or a draw, and Vancouver draw or lose. Or they can also clinch with a loss, Vancouver draw or lose, and a Valor draw or lose. As we know, Forge has clinched that first spot. They are just awaiting who that second spot will go to, who their opponent will be for the first and second place playoff matchup winner of that straight to the final. Here's Pacific starting 11, and KJ kind of touched on a lot of it too, just the up and down season. They were so great defensively, then they really had trouble finding the back of the net while letting in goals. Then they found their scoring touch again. Here's KJ with their head coach, James Merriman.
James, wet day out here, but certainly you're looking for a bright result. What's the expectations today and the message to the team ahead of this huge game for your club?
Yeah, the message has been consistent the entire week, is to control what we can control and focus on the game in front of us, not play into the scenarios of the other matches. Of course, we know what it is, but we need to focus here. We know we win and we're in, and that's in our control, and that's where the focus needs to be.
Let's get into your 11. Emil Gazdov back from suspension, has started 20 games, but you've gone with Sean Melvin. Why?
Yeah, I think, it's a difficult decision. Obviously, the mistake Emil knows in the last match that he played here. Sean Melvin stepped up. He was very good in the game against York. Obviously, you see the team. We haven't changed much. We stay with that team. We take care of this game, and then hopefully we push through and get into the playoffs, and that's another conversation.
Quickly, one on your attack. You got 12 goals in your last 7 with Dario up front and Dyer. Previously, you struggled to score. What do you like about those two up front together?
Yeah, I think it's, Moses has really helped Dario. He's brought him back to life, so to speak, and Dario's been a big leader down the stretch as well. He's kind of, used his experience and been more vocal in the locker room and in the team, and I think that's contagious, and you see it in the performances and the chemistry, and even with the goal with Rion Moore, the unselfish pass, that shows what he's bringing. So it's been a very good combination down the stretch, and we hope for big things today.
Another big day for your club. Enjoy it.
Thank you, KJ. Appreciate it.
James pretty open in that one. What has turned things around for them that's maybe going to lead you to believe they can solidify this 5th spot?
Well, they're starting to score goals. That certainly helps. Honestly, during the midway point of the season, and Jordan's been there before with York United in the past, sometimes you just feel no matter what you do, you're not going to score a goal. Like, they were dreadful. Like, it was nil, like, every game they played. Now, all of a sudden, they've scored 12 in their last 7 games. Yeah. Scored 19 in the previous 20 before that in the CPL. So that certainly helped. Players have stepped up. I just think that they're finally in a moment where they're feeling confident. They're playing so much more free. It was like they were playing so defensive for so long. You take the shackles off a little bit, then they've been able to show something. Let's see how they deal with the pressure today, because there is significant pressure. This is a team that controls their own destiny, and they play the best team in the Canadian Premier League without their best players. We'll get to the Forge starting 11. This is a weak Forge side that they're playing here today. If they don't go on and punch their playoff ticket this season, despite making a Canadian Championship semifinal, would go down as a massive disappointment.
On a wet day, last game of the season, at home, you're playing Forge, who you beat in the North Star Cup 2021. There's some players that are in the heart of this team that know that feeling, what it means to lift that trophy. And you win and you're in, as Wheels already said. There is nothing else that can block this team. You ask me what has got them here, I'll say the partnership and chemistry and cohesion that we've seen as of late. That was not there in the middle of the season or the beginning of the season. Zanata has 4 goals in the last 10. Dyer has come in and for me been a game changer in this team with 4 goals. Zanata had 2 pens, but I'll still count them, the 4 goals. It needs to be said. They are playing now and scoring. But all that means nothing, Trills, if they go here today at home and lay an egg.
Back 4 remain solid. That's been solidified. TMG, Mayor Jaguar has been great.
Top player.
Playing Melvin over Gazdov, that's a big call today. And Merriman explained it. I mean, I think Gazdov has been one of the best goalkeepers in the Canadian Premier League. Another big call, Rayon Moore scored a brace in the last game that had put Pacific in this season. That's a big call to keep him out of the starting 11 when all your players, it's not as if necessarily have been lighting the world on fire. Super sub, is that it? Is that his role? We'll see. And Josh Hurd, available for the first time. Last time he played was August 11th. Yeah. This is the club captain that they've been playing without. So no excuses today for Pacific. Have to go out and win this.
Are you whispering that in case Forge is listening? As we bring you Forge's starting 11, don't let them know that he's possibly a super sub. Well, look, here are the subs for Forge as well.
More is more.
As we take a look at their starting 11, too. The team that has won the CPL Shield and has earned a berth in CONCACAF Champions Cup next season. They are now trying to do what no other team has ever done, which is win the Shield and the North Star Cup in the same year. Here's Bobby Smyrniotis.
Bobby, a game that has no bearings on the standings for you, but certainly helps you prepare for next week's qualifying semi-final. What are you looking at for your team today?
Yeah, performance. That's the most important thing. You know, we got some rotation in the players in the lineup and making sure that they're getting a good run in, making sure we're going through our processes, try a few different things that maybe we look at. And, you know, that's been our process since that game in Valor. It's preparing for the 27th. So this is just part of it.
And great news for Forge fans. Tristan Borges is here in the 11. What can we expect from him and how much of a boost is that?
Yeah, he's been one of our most crucial players. You look at between him and Ali Hojabrapur, they've been our our links in the midfield, getting ourselves moving, and for him being out the last couple of games is to get out there in this beautiful weather, get through his motions and have a positive performance and prepare us for next week.
Last one, Bobby. Only 2 outfield players in the history of the league have played every minute of the game in the season. Alex Ashton-Johnson can be the 3rd today. What does that stat mean to you, and what does Alex mean to you?
Yeah, Alex is everything to us. He's the start of our play. Not only is he an excellent defender, but he keeps everything ticking for us from the back moving forward. We don't look too much at the stats. He'll get his run in today, but the guy's excellent. He's been here for 6 years. 6 years. We've had a lot of success with him in the lineup, and we want to keep on going.
Thanks, Bobby. Good luck. Enjoy today.
Thank you.
KJ's umbrella work with that interview. That not good.
Selfish.
That was a little
We've all done it. We've all done it. Here, let me hold this for you.
Poor Bobby is just dripping down.
Just the edge of the water coming up.
What happened, KJ?
I love it.
So it's a slick haircut. No hair up top. Just drips off.
Yeah, really. So a lot of good news, obviously, for Forge. We've been explaining it. They're going to, head into the playoffs. Firstly, though, you want to go in with another win here because you don't want to go into the playoffs with back-to-back losses. But more than anything, let's talk about a suspension. Daniel Parra means a lot to this team. It has come down. He has been suspended for 3 games. By the way, Forge can appeal this, but just how does this change the look of this team?
He's one of the best left backs, if not the best left back in the Canadian Premier League. But most importantly, right there, you see the action. For me, it's good enough to be suspended. There are things you need to do as a player. There are lines that you can maybe flirt with. This is one that you cannot cross. You cannot strike an opponent. I know people might say that might be soft, but playing the game, playing in this league specifically, there are things you could do and get away with and maybe warrant a yellow, but that for me is a suspension. And I will say, Forge have to change the way that they play a little bit. Olabi Bellewu playing left back, more defensive-minded, good at going forward, but Parr would bomb down the left, give crosses, come inside, sometimes be like an extra midfielder. For me, you can't replace a guy like that.
But they will, and they've done it this year because he didn't play in Can Champ against Toronto FC. Do you know who played that position? Malik Olabi Bellewu, who put Federico Bernardeschi in his back pocket. He won't go, but Olabi Bellewu making the gallivanting runs forward. They're just going to have to play in a little bit of a different way. So boo-hoo. First of all, I don't like in any sport, let alone in football, legislating or making calls and suspensions like this when the call wasn't made on the field initially.
I hear you.
I don't like that. It's unfortunate that it's 3 games. Seems a little bit harsh for me, Andy. So they're going to have to adjust. But for me here today, Bobby said performance is important. Look, Jordan Hamilton has 1 goal this season. Jordan, 1 goal. It's been a dreadful year. Kone hasn't played. Kane hasn't played. A rare start for Dom Samuel today. Again, this is the reason why I think that Pacific can get after Forge a little bit. Yeah, they have great players. Matusala, Ashton Yodi-Janssen, Borges, Jensen's been on great form, but this is nowhere near a first choice Forge side. They're already looking to October 27th, playing at home with a chance to host yet another Canadian Premier League final.
TonyBet lines for this matchup. Where you going, Wheels?
I like the under in this game, but I like Pacific to edge it. They have to. I'm backing Pacific to be the 5th and final playoff team here. Against this Forge side, no excuses, and I'm not going to make one for them.
Plus 240, Forge win. I understand what Wheels is saying, but for me, even Forge's 2nd team, air quote, is still good enough to go out and win this game. Absolutely.
All right, guys, we're here for the long haul. It's going to be my first ever match night.
Come on, Trills.
I can't
Get
wait.
excited.
Do
I get to go home? Come on.
No, you're staying, buddy.
Match night. Match night.
Match night.
It's an improvement, fairness.
I'll get there.
Improvement.
Listen, it's because I am too jacked up for The Outcome, presented by TonyBet. We have set you up now for all 4 matches that are kicking off in just 10 minutes' time. Who will Forge face? Who will York face? Who will get that final playoff spot? We're going to find out in The Outcome.
On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, we encourage Canadians to pause and remember all that veterans have sacrificed for us, lest we forget.
At CIBC, we know that nothing feeds ambition like momentum. So no matter what your goals are, from starting a business to sending money back home, conversation with us about your goals can set everything in motion. And once that ball of possibilities gets rolling, watch out, world.
Degree, 72-hour non-stop protection. Antiperspirant with motion sense. Tested to the limit. Degree, keeps working when others stop.
Don't miss the Canadian Premier League final, Saturday, November the 9th at 3 p.m. Eastern, live on CBC.
This one is for you.
We are getting set. Kickoffs are just around the corner. Here's how things stand right now heading into the matchups. Of course, we will be giving you some live updates throughout. By the way, all these games available on the One Soccer YouTube channel. By the way, you can have your chance to win $5,000 by participating in the CPL Playoff Bracket Challenge presented by tonybet. Challenge starts tomorrow. Head on over to campfield.ca for more details. $5 Gs? I'm playing.
5 Gs.
Let's play, baby. Maybe we can start placing some bets on who's going to win the Golden Boot. What do you think? Del Campo's leading now.
Do you know what I think is going to happen?
What's going to happen?
I'm looking at Tobias Warshevsky. With bags of brace today, come away with the Golden Boot against Valor. Cavalry always play good against Valor. Warshevsky looks back. He looks fit. Scored last week. I'm looking at Warshevsky to maybe pull a little bit of an upset here.
Can I say what I don't want? I don't want it to be a tie. I don't like when you share that award. Someone go out and win it. Del Campo, you haven't scored in a while.
Last year?
I don't like it. Like, you hold a picture too. Like, what are you holding? There needs to be one outright Golden Boot winner. Del Campo, go and score a goal today, Papa.
The message has been sent. We're obviously making a big deal of the fifth and final playoff spot because it's still up for grabs, but you're more curious, too, about who's going to finish second.
Yes, because Wheel said Cavs season. I will say they're the second best team in the Canadian Premier League. I think they're heating up. How hot? Something on the line. We need you in pressure time to go out. I want to see them destroy Valor. I love Valor, love their coach, love the way they've been playing. But I want to go see, if you really want that second place spot, go win 3-0 today. Atletico Ottawa, they played the best performance last week. And in Atletico Ottawa fashion, what would they do the week after? Play safe, play backwards, passes to the keeper, very tentative. Go out and dominate today. That's what I want to see. If you're going to be a second-place team, show that you should be there and it shouldn't be a fluke.
Whoever gets fifth place, it's almost like a punishment in a way because you have to run through the gauntlet. Yeah. Like, yeah, you made the playoffs, but number two, finishing second place is huge. You not only are one of two teams with a chance to host the final, you win your next game against Forge, you go on and host the Canadian Premier League final. Beyond that, if Forge end up doing the double this year, winning the Shield and the North Star Cup, second place qualifies for the CONCACAF Champions Cup. And you know that's something that's in Cavalry. It's part of their expectation year in, year out. That's where Atletico Ottawa wants to be. So that 2-3 between Cavalry and Ottawa, that's huge today. That's what I'm going to be paying attention to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that matters. And I think that's what's been so great ever since they changed this a couple of years ago, the playoff format. To your point, so 1 and 2, you win that, you go straight to the final. If you finish fifth, great. I mean, I'm not saying, getting a ticket to the dance is bad, but you're right. Now you've got to play, 3 games before you can even...
Away. Everything away.
Everything away. So, having said that, fifth place is up for grabs, and we really want to see who gets it. Right now, Pacific is sitting there, but you know that Vancouver and Valor nipping at their heels. Cavalry, Atletico, they want that second spot. York is the only one, and Forge, who have solidified their spots. It's Forge in first. It's York United in fourth. So both of them are awaiting their opponents. This is it.
This.
It all comes down to the last day. I love it when this matters.
Oh, enjoy it.
Is this what we're doing? Enjoy. To everyone at home, I hope you enjoy this. Remember, all games available on the One
I thought you were
Soccer
gonna give one of these.
YouTube channel. On the main network, we are going to stick with Vancouver and Atletico Ottawa, but we will keep you updated on everything else happening in those other games. Buckle up. Here we go, CPL fans. The outcome presented by tonybet on One Soccer. Kickoffs coming up after the break.
Allstate and its 900 agents proudly support Canadian soccer at every level. Visit allstate.ca.
I wanna run back to you. All I wanna do is run back to you and make my dreams come true. The only thing I ever do is run right back to you.
When the stakes are high, only the TELUS 5G network delivers.
CIBC is a proud partner of the Canadian Premier League.
At CIBC, we know that nothing feeds ambition like momentum. So no matter what your goals are, from starting a business to sending money back home, a conversation with us about your goals can set everything in motion. And once that ball of possibilities gets rolling, watch out, world.
At tonybet, get treated like a VIP. Bet on live games with odds on all sorts of sports. That's what you get when you bet with tonybet.
The Atlantic port city of Halifax, Nova Scotia, and more specifically the Wanderers grounds, is the setting as 8th-ranked Halifax Wanderers FC face York United on matchday 28 of the 2024 Canadian Premier League season. Good Saturday afternoon, everyone. I'm Alf DeBlasis. Thank you very much for joining us as we bring you one of 4 CPL matches to be contested concurrently on the final match day of the regular season. It's part of The Outcome, presented by tonybet here on One Soccer and streaming free on the One Soccer YouTube channel.
Halifax Wanderers would like to thank our good friends at CIBC for their involvement in today's match and their support for
Teams are on the pitch. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll have your starting lineups and the opening kickoff. You're watching the Canadian Premier League live on One Soccer.
Allstate and its 900 agents proudly support Canadian soccer at every level. Visit allstate.ca.
Oh, Carol! Always the earliest holiday shopper.
It's Holly. Uh-oh.
You know who's gonna win?
Holly.
Carol.
What?
Carol.
No, Holly.
Get out of here.
This ultimate mouth-watering moment is brought to you by the big, bold, ultimate taste of Ultimate Chicken Hot Dogs, only from Maple Lodge Farms.
Volkswagen, the official automotive partner of the Canadian Premier League.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
This one is for you.
WestJet is a proud sponsor of the Canadian Premier League.
At CIBC, we know that nothing feeds ambition like momentum. So no matter what your goals are, from starting a business to sending money back home, a conversation with us about your goals can set everything in motion. And once that ball of possibilities gets rolling, watch out, world.
CIBC is a proud partner of the Canadian Premier League.
Welcome back to the Wanderers grounds in Halifax as we await the start of the match between Halifax Wanderers FC and York United FC here on One Soccer. Let us introduce you to our match officials. The referee is Marie-Soleil Baudouin, 41 years of age, originally from North Vancouver, BC, but makes her home in Quebec City. Her assistants today are Marie-Han Gagnon-Chrétien and Félix Côté-Leclerc. The fourth official is Scott Bowman. Well, let's take a look at the starting lineups, and we'll begin with the home team, Wanderers FC. And head coach Patrice Geyser makes 4 changes from the side that played Cavalry FC last week. Aiden Rashinis steps in to play goal. It's his 5th appearance and Ramparsad also come into the side. Zachary Fernandez is suspended for red card violation. Jeremy Gagnon-Lapare is also serving a suspension due to yellow card accumulation. Benjamin Mora also makes 4 changes for York United since the match against Pacific FC. Kibato returns after injury. Marquez and Babuli also step into the lineup, and Marky Wojciechowski makes his first start since July 6th. Max Ferrari is suspended due to yellow card accumulation. So Halifax in their all-blue kit will be defending the goal to your left, and York United is in the green and white striped shirts with the white shorts. It is a beautiful day in Halifax. Perfect conditions, sunny, 16 degrees, just a light wind from the southwest. And I'm pleased to be joined in the booth today by former Canadian international, former Ipswich and West Ham goalkeeper Craig Forrest. And Craig, this is the only match of the 4 today that'll have no bearing on the playoff outcome. So do you expect the 2 teams to maybe play with a little more freedom, given that the pressure of attaining a playoff position really isn't on the line?
Well, I really hope so. I mean, from the neutral's point of view, I think, but generally speaking, in the CPL, we see teams really put themselves on the front foot and go for goals and play that way. Very rarely you'll see teams sit back, and I don't expect we're going to see any of that today. Halifax want to end the season on a high, obviously, and they have a chance of not finishing in 8 spots, so that'll be important. And honestly, arguably the best supporters in the league in Halifax, and this beautiful setup that they have there.
Yep. We're 45 seconds into the match. This is the 23rd meeting all-time between these 2 clubs. York has won 7. Halifax has 6 wins, and there have been 9 draws. And the last outing between these 2 clubs was right here at Wanderers grounds back on Labor Day, September the 2nd, and the Wanderers won 2-1 on goals by Farron and Fernandez, with Daniel Nimick supplying an own goal for York's late tally. Interesting that every match between these 2 clubs this season ended with the same 2-1 scoreline, with York winning both matches at home. 90 seconds into the match, and we have an injury to a Halifax player.
Interesting situation, Alfred, as far as York United go, and they've got that 4 spot locked up. They're not going anywhere, and gives the opportunity to, well, through some injuries and suspensions as well, to give some opportunities for some other players to show what they can do and play their way hopefully into the playoff team.
Had a look at our CIBC player spotlight. Halifax Wanderers defender Nassim Mekidesh, number 44. He was born in Laval, Quebec. 24 years of age. Spent part of his youth career in Algeria. Joined the Wanderers at the start of this season. He's made 6 appearances. Played 540 minutes and scored a couple of goals. Has a previous CPL experience, having played for Valor in 2022.
Yeah, he's got a good build about him as well. You know, he just really does have a good profile for a center back, and really one for Patrice and his coaching staff for the future. And certainly need to strengthen up next season, and this club really deserves to be in the playoffs.
Something he talked about pre-game, Patrice Geyser, if there's one thing we need to challenge ourselves, he said, in terms of the off-season, it's to find an overall consistency. They've been a very good home team, but same can't be said for the away record.
No, that's right. I mean, travel is a big factor for them too. Obviously, everywhere they go is pretty much a long flight when you look at European standards, and clubs and travel becomes a problem, but it's a different level for Halifax.
And we had a look at York United coach Benjamin Mora, who, as expected, has rotated his squad in advance of the playoff match that they'll be hosting on Wednesday at York Lions Stadium. He said prior to the match that we need to mix very well what we need, what the players need, and what the club needs to get to the playoff match in good shape and at the closest level to the highest performance. So that is the reason for the 4 changes in the York United lineup this afternoon. So in the 5th minute of play, no score between Halifax Wanderers and York United. That's Giorgio Provo, the Italian, turning with the ball. Here's an opportunity. Good tackle, well won there by the York United defender. Free kick called in favor of York. Foul committed against Wojciechowski. Bully out wide to Kibato. Back to Babuli.
Babuli, he can play in all sorts of different positions. He's comfortable playing. Right now he's playing as a defender, but seen him play up top, can score some great set piece goals as well. He's great on the ball, very, very comfortable.
It's unusual to see him in such a deep lying position.
It is.
Moving forward with the ball now. Plays it ahead to Cordova. Out wide on the right flank now. Back to Leon. Mexican native. Comes the cross, Kibato headed on and just over top of the bar, but a good first opportunity for York United to break the deadlock, and it came off ahead of Juan Cordova.
Yeah, it was well worked, and it's a really good delivery in, but if you have a look, it just gets a touch on and then is behind Cordova. Very difficult to get that one on target. He did well to get it anywhere near the goal.
Cordova, the 29-year-old defender from Los Andes, Chile. Quite a Latin American influence on York United. Obviously with the coaching staff headed by Benjamin Mora. A number of players from Mexico as well as Colombia and Chile represented. York's coming forward now. Here's a chance for Sean Rea. Shot off the back of a York United defender. I think that was Leon. There is an offside signal there from the referee. There's a look at Sean Rea. Players had MLS experience with CF Montreal and played previously in the CPL with Valor FC. Rea, number 30. Side just missing out in the middle there. Good pass. Opportunity here for York. It's Jorge Guzman. And deflected over top. And the referee is going to show a yellow card for an incident behind the play. So the first caution of the match.
Yeah, we can have a look here as they break away a lot of space. He decides to get on his left foot, try to curl it around the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper really knows what he's trying to do and makes a really fine save. It's a very good save.
The caution is going to go against a Halifax player for an incident, and it is in fact to Wesley Timoteo. Just 9 minutes into the match. Babuli turns it towards the byline, cuts it across, ball bounces in and off the defender and into the back of the net, and the credit may go to Brian Wright, but I think it was a couple of Halifax players that had bounded off and before it crossed the goal line, but York United has jumped into the lead in the 10th minute.
I think some of the players are asking him, did you get the final touch? Babuli does brilliantly well here. Good strength, puts it into a dangerous position. And you're right, it seems to come off the defender into the back of the net the last touch. But it was all set up by Babuli's great run. And well, I'm not sure, maybe Higgins got a touch on it, but.
Well, Brian Wright seems to be claiming it, but
yeah.
Higgins did appear to be among the players where the ball seemed to have bounced around. The credit, as you see on the screen, is an own goal for Dan Nimick. And an opportunity for the Wanderers, with Babuli losing out and then committing a foul. And that is going to present a dangerous opportunity for Halifax to try and equalize within a couple of minutes of conceding, as they'll have the free kick.
You could tell Babuli knew he wasn't going to win the ball, and he actually tried to withdraw from the actual challenge, but referee saw just enough contact there. He's trying to explain that to the official as well. Good position here for Halifax.
Vitor Diaz and Giorgio Probo over the ball right now. See if it'll be the left-footed Diaz or the right-footed Probo to strike at goal. Vincenzini, the York keeper, still setting up his three-man wall. He's satisfied with it. Just awaiting the referee's whistle. And it will be Probo, and a probing cross into the area. It was punched out by Vincenzini. Timoteo. Ramparsad. Sean Rea turning with it. The cross comes in, and it is safely into the arms of Toma Vincenzini.
Good goalkeeping. He doesn't mind coming for crosses either, and if he sets him up and puts himself in a very good position off the set piece right away. I would like to have seen Probo maybe use a left footer over top of the wall into that goalkeeper's top left corner, but Vincenzini dealt with that really well.
Tchaikovsky Plays it off. Played out wide to the right. Again, along the right flank, York United trying to build up an attack. And they're comfortable just to play it right back to Vincencini, the York United goalkeeper who has played the most minutes in the CPL this season, 2,430, tied with Vancouver FC's Callum Irving, both 27 appearances so far this season, and 6 shutouts for Vincencini. Once again, played across to the right flank as York United showing some patience in their build-up. Played through the middle. Now to the near side for Wojciechowski, trying to find an opening. Sets it back to Higgins, and there is a York United player on the ground. I think that's Babuli.
It is.
Not sure what happened there behind the play. The referee is calling the training staff onto the field. If he took an elbow to the face. So confirmation that the York United goal was actually an own goal. Daniel Nemec, who has been quite the prolific goal scorer for Halifax, going the other way. He's leads the team with 8 goals, but unfortunately has a couple of own goals as well this season.
Yeah, that was unfortunate there. I mean, it was a difficult one for him. Well, here we have a look at what happens to Babuli in the middle of the screen. Oh, he just runs into the defender.
Pretty innocuous.
Yeah, it was.
Collision between the two players, but just wanted to bring our viewers up to date that the Wanderers come into this match as the only CPL team eliminated from the postseason, and that came as a result of their 2-1 defeat to Cavalry at Atco Field last Saturday. Meanwhile, despite a 2-1 loss to Pacific FC in their last match 9 days ago, York United are locked into that 4th spot in the standings, and as I mentioned, they're going to host their first ever home playoff match this coming Wednesday against an opponent yet to be determined. But it will be one of Pacific, Vancouver, or Valor, who are all vying for that 5th and final playoff spot, all at this very moment.
And good for York as well to have that home game. They deserve it. I think they've had a pretty good season. Mora comes in. I think they played a pretty attractive brand of football. Like to get those wide players and the fullbacks forward. And Brian Wright has been absolutely prolific this season. For them to win it, he's going to have to keep doing so.
Brian Wright on 9 goals this season, just a couple off the pace set by Ruben Acapo of Atletico Ottawa. As we are back underway, just beyond the 15-minute mark, York United holding on to that 1-0 lead. Goal coming in the 10th minute. Bahia gets a return pass from the byline. Bahia with the cross near post. Opportunity there. Didn't sit nicely for Diaz. Throw in here on the near side for the Wanderers. Sean Rea. Diaz trying to find some space, but he's crowded by 4 York United defenders. Thought he had a corner, but it'll be a goal kick in favor of the visiting club. There from Coimbra as Leon was too maybe lethargic coming out of his back line. Throw from the near side. Wojciechowski. Poor first touch, and it's out of play. This is Ramparsad. Back into the team after an international appearance with Trinidad and Tobago. Nice turn with it, Massimo Ferrin. Good breakout now for Halifax. And they're forced back. Nimick. Rea turns away from a defender. Now crowded by two. Still managed to maintain possession. Sending Clément Baya forward. Busts through a couple of York United defenders. Goes down in the box. No call from the referee. She waves play on. And Wanderers looking for the penalty.
Yeah, as we have another look at it, I think that the referee is positioned in an excellent position and got it spot on. I think he's looking for something there. There was very little, if anything. And I think the positioning of the official was imperative important because, I mean, you could have got, we've seen it in this league too, the officials will book players for diving. And that was, in my view, embellishment. Just going to let him off.
So first incident in the penalty box, bit of controversy, but perhaps the no call was the right call from referee Marie-Soleil Baudouin. We are in the 20th minute of play now. Still 1-0 York United as Halifax. Free kick is floated in and out beyond the end line. No one able to connect with it. Halifax, as we mentioned, the only team that has been eliminated from the playoff picture. They actually played a fairly solid match away from home last week, managing 15 shots during their match against Cavalry FC. But came away on the wrong end of a 2-1 scoreline. Play back to Vincencini. Ball stays in play. Back across to Dan Nimick. Pro ball. It's off a York player and out. For that Halifax throw-in. This is Giorgio Probo. He is a 25-year-old from Bergamo, Italy. Italian. His first season in the Canadian Premier League. Throw-in will be taken by Clément Baya. Back to Nimick. Rea. It's a return pass. Rea looking for space. Ramparsad. Now to Mekidesh. Quick ball out to Baya. Intended for Rea. Let it go. Ramparsad. Rea wins a challenge. Ramparsad. Play crowded in the midfield area. Now a lead pass for Brian Wright. He's got an overlapping player with him, and coming out was Rashinas to dive and make sure there was No opportunity there for the onrushing Jorge Guzman.
Yeah, very good goalkeeping. Read it incredibly well. He's fast off his line. Halifax having a really tough time breaking down those blocks when they get into the final third. It's getting really, really tight. York are very good at defending in those areas. They just need to move the ball a little bit quicker. Look at the pitch isn't the fastest, so it's a bit heavy, but still, they could still do things a little bit with more sharpness.
Midway through the first half, York United holding on to a 1-0 lead over Halifax Wanderers FC. The goal, an own goal from Dan Nimick in the 10th minute. Claiming a handball, it was called by the referee. So it'll be a free kick to York United right at the midfield stripe. Clear evidence of the handball from Dan Nimick. Leon back to Niall Higgins. Long ball along the right flank, intended for Cordova. He's trying to run it down. It won't get there as the ball goes across the end line for the Halifax goal kick. Halifax coach Patrice Geyser said pre-game was hoping that his team could feed off the energy of the crowd. It's been a crowd that has supported this team through thick and thin, and certainly this year has been a disappointing one, but he says they are our 12th man, our extra energy, and we love their support. We'll see if they can urge them on in this break. Off the left side, turning it into his right foot. Chance falls. Now for Rea. Great save. Rebound. Goal. And it's offside against Coimbra. And that is unfortunate because Halifax did everything well.
They really did. They moved the ball in tight quarters really, really quickly, which we're talking about them not doing quite as well as they should be. And the offside, because yeah, that's a really good call by the assistant. To be able to spot that, he then becomes active. That went straight in and off the shot. Obviously, it would have counted. Once the goalkeeper makes the save, he then becomes active and was offside. Amazing how many these officials, they get a hard time, but they get most of it right. And that's not an easy call.
Absolutely the correct call. As we look at the replay, and Coimbra coming back from an offside position to slot the rebound home, but it won't count. And the score remains 1-0 York United as the Wanderers try to work their way up again. Coimbra and pushed a little bit too far.
Heavy touch.
Bully out wide. Been enjoying quite a bit of the possession along the right flank of York United with Cordova. Dispossessed. Nice flick on to send the Halifax player away. Push on the back from Babuli. Play on, says the referee. Put a shoulder into the back of the Halifax player, but the referee allowed play to go on. What do you think?
Well, there certainly was a push. It was outside the box. And if I was the official, I would have given a free kick for that at about 20 yards outside.
The call didn't come from referee Baudouin. And Halifax Wanderers will try to regroup, rebuild from the back. This push is called, however. Free kick quickly taken. Mekidesh. cross-field pass by Yap. Loses out, and Babuli will send it back to Vincenzini. Back to Babuli.
I quite like Babuli in that position. He's sitting in front of the back line, quarterbacking things.
He's a versatile player, so he can certainly play that position as well as a more advanced position, and you know he can certainly be a threatening attacker as well.
Yeah, and as he moves on in age too, I think you start going backwards, but he's got the knowledge and ability to he can play in those positions in those little holes and make a difference.
Thiago Coimbra is writhing in pain on the ground, but no call from the referee as play continues. York United moving it along the right flank once again. And now Babuli will just put it out of play to allow the Halifax training staff to have a look at the injured player. Looks like he got a boot to the hand.
Yeah.
So he's trying to regain his footing.
Accidental, but yeah, definitely took a kick in the arm.
It is 20-year-old Thiago Coimbra, a native of Fortaleza, Brazil. He's an imposing attacker for Halifax Wanderers. Baldissimo. Now played out wide. Nice ball flicked into the direction of number 21, that is Kembo Kibato. Kibato once again trying to shake off Sean Rea, and it was Rea challenging him, and comes off the Halifax player last for a throw-in. As we are about to reach the half-hour mark, with York United still holding on to a 1-0 lead. Own goal from Dan Nimick, just 10 minutes into the match. Separates these two teams. It is a corner, I believe the first of the game for York United from the near side. Playing short to Babuli. Turning is Cordoba. Stripped of the ball. Nice play from Sean Rea, who's turning on the Jets, trying to get away from Babuli. Still Rea. Plays the cross in, and it is in for the equalizer. Or not. Is there another offside? Seems to be the impression from the Halifax player, and yes, in fact, it is.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Really good work. Babuli loses possession here. I thought he might lay in his wide player, and there it is there, the ball put in, and again, a fantastic call by the assistant. Good defending. They're holding their line, letting him running into the offside position, a couple yards. That's 2 disallowed.
And that's twice that Halifax has put the ball in the back of the net, but both times it has been disallowed for offside. They are certainly deserving of a goal. Halifax Wanderers have been threatening since conceding that opening goal. Foul called against Baldissimo. Nimick Farron stripped of the ball. Ramparsan will collect and regroup. It's off Coimbra and all the way back to Vincenzi. York will try it from the left side now. Bit of an aggressive challenge there from Provo, who gives away the free kick. Leon will take charge of this free kick. Plays it short to Gigato, gets it back. Babuli. Higgins. Played all the way back to Vincenzi once again.
What a touchstone.
Given away and then collected by Bellissimo. Vincenzi will try it to the left side of the attack. Kibato across the midfield stripe, played out wide to the right side. Cordova with the overlapping run. Wojciechowski, and his shot deflects off a Halifax player and out for a corner. Marky Wojciechowski. 20-year-old midfielder from Ukraine. So corner from the far side this time for York United. Once again, they're going to play it short. Babuli with a cross. Headed on at the near post. Played back. Crossed in. Headed away. Only as far as Guzman. Still Guzman. Top of the box. Left foot strike off the back of Ramparsan. Kibato turning with it. Cordova. Altissimo plays it deep. Headed up by Provo. And finally out of danger. Less than 10 minutes to play in the first half now. York United leading Halifax Wanderers 1-0. The home side has been able to penetrate the York United defense on a couple of occasions, but both situations were called back on offsides. Leon. Kibato. Pass out wide to the right. Cordova with the cross. Falls, but no York United player there. And cleared. Babuli will run it down.
Nice football from York. Possessing the ball really well, switching play. Just that final ball let him down, but other than that, sort of dictating things at the moment.
West Timoteo with the throw in. Mekidesh. Nimic. Played through Vincenzi well off his line to clear the lines.
Yeah, great starting position for Vincenzi. One of his strengths is reading that play. As you can see, Halifax are trying to penetrate with some passes straight through the middle. So far, they've done a good job cleaning that up.
Andrews Gaysar giving some instructions to his players. Certainly can't be disappointed by Halifax's performance so far in this first half. Yet they still trail by a goal to nil. Baldissimo. Hit it on. Ramparsan. Good through ball. Down goes the Halifax player. A play on, says the referee. Rayo will try it from a distance. It comes off the foot of Kibato. Still alive for Halifax, though. Played out by Higgins. Brian Wright to Babuli. Spinning with it. Wojciechowski. Babuli. Back to Wojciechowski. Outside of the boot. Flicked on. Headed away. And Rhea leads the attack for Halifax once again. He's got Coimbra ahead of him. He decides to slow it down, play it out wide to the right. Baya back to Rhea. Good run. Crossing attempt is short, and it's right into the waiting arms of Vincenzi.
Yeah, he did well to get to the ball, but he couldn't get it back far enough to trouble anybody and right into the arms of the goalkeeper.
Just a reminder, the other matches in progress today. Valor FC is hosting Cavalry FC. Atletico Ottawa against Vancouver FC. And out on Vancouver Island, it's Pacific FC hosting Forge FC. Every one of those games has playoff implications, all except for this one, where, as we mentioned, York United is locked into the 4th spot in the standings, and they will host the 5th place finisher in a playoff match Wednesday night at York Lions Stadium. And the second yellow has come out. First to York United, and this will be to Wojciechowski. And he comes in the 40th minute.
The old shirt pull.
Bit of a naive challenge there from the youngster.
Yeah, you do see that quite often in this league, and inexperience and just rather silly bookings at times.
So a caution apiece. The earlier one came in the 9th minute to Wes Timoteo of Halifax. Talking about discipline, these two teams lead respective categories. York leads in yellow cards in the league this year with 84, while Halifax leads the league in the number of red cards with 8. So discipline has been an issue for both clubs so far this season. Well, that ball came off a York United defender last, so we've got the first corner of the match for Halifax. And it will be taken from the far corner flag as we're into the final 4 minutes of the first half of play, with York holding on to a 1-0 advantage. This will be an in-swinger. Near post, flicked on. Was there a handball there? That's what the claim is. Ramparsan keeps it alive. Played back. Timoteo with the cross, and it falls into the arms of Vincenzi. Not sure we'll have a look at that on a replay, but
certainly looked as though there was contact with the arm, but
headed away by Nimick. 3 minutes to play, plus any stoppage time to be added as Farron is caught offside. We'll have a look at it here now.
looks as though
it
it
seemed
catches.
to be outstretched to the bully's right arm, eh?
Yeah, no question about it. You see where the official is there in the center of the screen. She was a little bit blindsided by it. Didn't just get a clear look at it.
Although there did appear to be a flick
Yes.
just prior to that from a Halifax player, so that
ball to hand as opposed to handball.
could have been influential.
Seen him given though.
Vincenzi with the clearance. Headed away by Mekidash. Good opportunity here again. Farron. Vincenzi well out of his goal. And he does well to take it away.
He does do well in the end, but he was in
no man's land.
Yeah, he was. He was going to have to be the last man there to make a challenge. He does very well to do that. Gets himself out of trouble.
Less than 2 to play now, plus stoppage time. Ramparsan, will he have a look? Lays it off, cross in. And the clearance from York United. No one really confident to take the shot there.
They're getting closer, Halifax, to one that will count.
York has been playing that high line defensively, and now we see another yellow card. Not sure which of the York United players received that yellow, but unless it was the player who took the throw in for time wasting. Confirmation that it is the York United captain Leon who received the yellow card. So that is the second to a York United player, third in the match. And we have a corner from the near flag. So is this the opportunity for Halifax to find the equalizer just before the halftime whistle? It's taken short. Probo playing it in the middle, headed away, and foul committed against the York United player, who is slow to his feet. That is Leon. And we have confirmation that there will be 3 additional minutes, a minimum of 3 minutes to be added to the first half of play. Minutes of extra time, but brought to you by Burn Bray Farms. Nimick trying to work his way around 2 York United players, and he does very well to bring Halifax out to midfield. Timoteo. Farron. And the ball intended for Coimbra falls right to Vincenzi, who's going to run as much time off the clock as he can. Baldissimo. Long ball downfield, looking for Brian Wright. Wojciechowski follows up. He has Guzman to his left. Guzman takes the pass, goes to the byline, cuts it back. Played to Wojciechowski. Ramparsan steals and starts the Halifax counterattack. Coimbra trying to free himself of Leon. Less than a minute of stoppage time still to play. Wojciechowski tripped up there by Farron. free kick called against the Halifax forward, Massimo Ferrin. The final 30 seconds of this first half. Has been an entertaining first half, Craig.
Oh yeah, it certainly has. Both teams have been playing some decent football, and Halifax have created their chances. I think that goal will eventually come. They're committing a lot of players into the offensive zone, and there's halftime.
And there is the halftime whistle from our referee, Marie-Soleil Baudouin, to bring the opening 45 minutes to a close. And only one goal scored, although three balls found the back of the net, but only one is official. So at halftime from Wanderers grounds in Halifax, it's Halifax Wanderers FC 0, York United 1.
Gatorade, with electrolytes to help replenish what's lost in sweat, carbs to help fuel your working muscles, and fluids to help you hydrate. Scientifically formulated so you never stop competing.
I do this for my town, my time, my time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Rehydrate, replenish, refuel. Gatorade.
Hey, let's go somewhere beachy. I don't like sand. What? What about Cancun sand? It's so soft. Or maybe Caribbean white sand. Sure. Ooh, Costa Rican sand. It's got dolphins.
Costa Rica, then?
Yeah, Costa Rica.
Good choice.
It was all him.
With over 50 sunny destinations to choose from, we have a flight for that.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
This one is for you.
Oh, Carol! Always the earliest holiday shopper.
It's Holly. Uh-oh.
You know who's gonna win?
Holly.
Carol.
What?
Carol.
No, Holly.
Get out of here.
Canadian soccer fans, we're different. We cheer on the Reds while cheering out our motherlands and each other's lands. Soccer is in our hearts. Our roots are on display. Not to divide, but to unite. Because to us, soccer's more than just a game. It's who we are. From coast to coast to coast, it connects us all. Cheers to us. Cheers to the game.
tonybet.
At tonybet, get treated like a VIP. Bet on live games with odds on all sorts of sports. That's what you get when you bet with
tonybet. Bet.
Back to the Wanderers grounds in Halifax, Nova Scotia. We are at halftime of our match with the results. York United 1, Halifax Wanderers FC 0. Let's begin our halftime recap with the key highlights of that first half of play. And there was an opening sequence here for York United. A good save off the shot from Guzman. Tipped over top from the keeper, Aiden Rashinis. But just moments after that, Mo Babuli sets it up for the opening goal.
Yeah, Babuli does really, really well. He's been all over the park, and he does well. Quick feet, good strength, puts it in a really dangerous area, and they get some really bit of a fortunate bounce, but you keep putting the ball in those areas.
Took about 3 bounces before it found the back of the net.
Everybody, the goalkeeper can't believe it.
Off a bunch of bodies, and in the end, the goal was credited to Dan Nimick as an own goal. Then we had this sequence for the Wanderers, and of course it was Coimbra in an offside position.
Yeah, it was, and again, well done by the assistant on this side of the pitch to recognize that. Another good chance here, another good position by the assistant again on a really tidy finish, but just offside. Potential handball.
Yeah, that bit of controversy that we saw towards the end of that first half, a ball striking the arm of Mo Babuli. But again, no call, and the score remains 1-0 York United. As we take a look at the halftime statistics and possession numbers, fairly equal. Equal number of fouls, equal number of corners, and the pass accuracy almost equal as well. And it does kind of reflect the way the game has gone so far.
It has. And those chances for Halifax and being in the offside position, you have to credit York for their starting positions and holding that defensive line up the pitch a little bit, letting them run in those positions. So they have to be a little bit more patient and make more professional runs.
Now we move on and take a look at the live standings in the Canadian Premier League as it happens. Forge FC have, of course, clinched top spot, but everything else is up for grabs. You see Cavalry and Atletico vying for second spot. York United is locked into 4th place, and then numbers 5, 6, and 7 all vying for the 5th and final playoff spot. Pacific, Valor, and Vancouver all in action elsewhere at this very moment. Oh, coming up, a feature on ex-Forge striker and a recent Canadian men's national team call-up, Kwesi Poku.
Obviously, it's been really good so far. It's been a dream to get the call-up. I think it's something that every kid dreams of, and I'm just really proud to be here. I'm soaking everything in, and I'm learning a lot. Canada is my home. I'm happy to be back as I'm living in Belgium now, and I feel at home with the guys. Everybody was really warm and they're welcoming, and on and off the field, everything has been great. I think this whole year itself has been really crazy for me and really fast. I haven't really got time to sit down and really think about, all the achievements that have happened for me this year. But yeah, looking back on it, it's been a really crazy year. I'm still settling in. It's a bit different. Obviously the culture, just everything on the field, off the field. It's been a bit of time to get used to it, but I'm getting there. I feel really comfortable. I feel like I joined a team that directly had plans for me to be an important player right away, and that's exactly what I wanted. I traveled overseas not to sit on the bench, but to be on a team that I could play for, to be on a team that had plans for me and a team that I could make an impact for right away. And I feel like I found that, and I'm really enjoying my football right now. Yeah, just soaking in everything, learning, seeing their habits, seeing how they train and what they work on to get to the highest level. Obviously that's something I want to reach as well, so kind of just mimicking what they do and just taking advice from them has been really important for me, and I'm going to take it wherever I go. I think that comes from just maybe watching football, growing up as an attacker, always looking up to strikers growing up. I never really looked up to anyone in the back line growing up. It was always strikers, always forwards. I always wanted to be like them. Movement is the most important thing because it sets you up for your goals, right? If you don't move, you won't get a good shot, right? So it's about that counter movement that gives you that split second to be able to take the best shot possible, and that's what I like to focus on when I'm making my runs. I think the most important thing when you are in a goal-scoring area is to do the first thing that comes to your mind. When you think about, oh, should I go here or should I go near post, far post, whatever it may be, that's when you mess up, right? You have to think with your instinct, and you have to just go with that. The CPL helped me in every way. I think it added a lot of professionalism to my game. Obviously, previously, before I joined the CPL, I wasn't in a professional environment or a consistent professional environment, and just having that professionalism that men's football is very important for people who are young. Being exposed to what it's like to, when you win, there's a lot at stake. So it just gave me a lot of responsibility early on, and it really helped me with just the tactical side, professional side, on the field, off the field. So the CPL has just really been great for me. I didn't have time to waste it all going to Forge. I think that winning was in the identity of Forge, so right away I kind of picked up on that we're in this league to win it. I had to keep my standard at a high level every day, which, like I said, helped me. It was a surprise for a lot of people, but it wasn't a surprise for me. I know that Coach Bobby was aware of my abilities in front of goal, as he sees it in training every day. So when our strikers got hurt, and the option was to put me at striker, I wasn't very surprised. I was ready, I was focused, and it worked out and got me here today. So.
Don't miss the Canadian Premier League Final, Saturday, November the 9th at 3 p.m. Eastern, live on CBC.
Oh, Carol! Always the earliest holiday shopper.
It's Holly. Uh-oh.
You know who's gonna win?
Holly.
Carol.
What?
Carol.
No, Holly.
Get out of here.
At CIBC, we know that nothing feeds ambition like momentum. So no matter what your goals are, from starting a business to sending money back home, a conversation with us about your goals can set everything in motion. And once that ball of possibilities gets rolling, watch out, world.
I wanna run back to you. All I wanna do is run back to you and make my dreams come true. The only thing I ever do is run right back to you.
When the stakes are high, only the TELUS 5G network delivers.
Degree, 72-hour non-stop protection. Antiperspirant with motion sense. Tested to the limit. Degree, keeps working when others stop.
What makes a Burnbrae egg a Burnbrae egg? For generations, we've put more goodness in, so you get a whole lot more out of every single delicious egg. A lot goes into a little at Burnbrae Farms.
This ultimate mouth-watering moment is brought to you by the big, bold, ultimate taste of Ultimate Chicken Hot Dogs, only from Maple Lodge Farms.
Welcome back for the second half of today's match with the score Halifax Wanderers FC 0, York United 1. The tally coming in the 10th minute of the first half. It was an own goal off of Daniel Nimick. We had 3 cautions shown by referee Marie-Soleil Baudouin through the course of the first half. 1 to the Wanderers' West Timoteo, and 2 very late in that first half to Wojciechowski and Leon of York United. I'll have to glasses alongside Craig Forrest, welcoming you back to our coverage of this match from the Wanderers' grounds. One of 4 matches being played concurrently on this final match day of the 2024 CPL regular season. So we're hearing that 2 substitutions are being made by York United to start the second half, as we've just kicked off. And York is now defending the goal to your left, and here's a confirmation of the 2 substitutions that were made. Leon and Babuli both coming off. Jimo and Adekubi coming on.
Yeah,
surprising.
Well, only from the, not really, because obviously they got bigger fish to fry coming up York, so they're going to give some other players in Adekubi a chance, as well as the youngster Jimo as well, who's been a fun player to watch as he develops in this league.
Yep, and it is 16-year-old Shola Jimo, originally from Newcastle, England. And that is him on the ball there right now. Number 19 for York United, settling it back to Cordova. The other player to come into the match is Adekubi, of course, the brother of Sam Adekubi. Elijah spent some time at Cavalry FC earlier in his CPL career. Nice play from Sean Rea, cutting it through the middle. Played across, good control from Farron. Lays it off to Timoteo, back to Farron. Timoteo playing a 1-2 there. Farron back to Timoteo. Wanderers showing a lot of patience, trying to find a seam and get it back to Rushinas. Just comfortably into the second half of play. And play back to Vincenzi. Mekidish will go back to Rushinas. Bit of a muffed kick, but Mekidish will try and take control, shielding Jimo. Nice turn there from York United's Santiago Marquez. Here's Adekubi. Jimo pushed off the ball by Farron, who commits the foul. And it will be a free kick from a dangerous position for York United.
He's short. He's really sharp, Jimo, and he does really well there, just getting the ball, pushing it, and getting his body between the defender and the ball, and absolutely getting a foul. Good work.
Shola Jimo became the second youngest goal scorer in CPL history this season, netting the game-winning goal in a 2-1 win over Cavalry back on July 13th. So we'll see if it is the right-footed Juan Cordova or the left-footed Jorge Guzman to take charge. And eventually it is Cordova with the ball that just drops over top of everyone and out the end line. So that set piece comes to nothing. Ramparsad. Reaching back there was Vitor Diaz. Probo. Dispossessed. Wojciechowski pushed off the ball. No call from the referee. Ramparsad wins it. Probo loses out. Wojciechowski, through ball for Brian Wright, and stepping in front was Menki Desh. And the clearing attempt goes off the York United player. 5 minutes gone in the second half. Still 1-0 York United. Kubi. Niall Higgins all the way back to Vincenzi. He's going to switch play and send it out to the right side. It's a 50-50 ball there. It came off the Halifax player last. Cordova with the throw-in from the near side.
Let's go, guys. Let's go.
Cordova just thumps it out. Marquez. Halifax player called for the foul. That is Provo. Another free kick for York United. Baldissimo. Cordova. Pass intended for Gimo. Pace is kind of slowed down here at the start of the second half. It was pretty free-flowing in the first half. Tempo was not quite what it was.
No, it suits York United for sure.
Intercepted. Outlet pass. Wojciechowski waiting for support. Now spreads it out wide to the right. Gimo. Cordova following up. High kick there. And we're going to see another caution. I believe we are. As Juan Cordova got the boot up a little too high and committed the foul. Gets up limping, but he's going to be shown the yellow card, much to his surprise. That comes in the 54th minute, so that is the third York player to go in the book. It seemed pretty obvious here.
They tried to pull out a little bit at the very last second. Yeah, it just
did seem to try to pull away.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, he will become the third York player to go in the referee's book today. Brian Wright, and he is in an offside position. He has collected that pass. I haven't seen a whole lot of Brian Wright today. He really hasn't been served very well and very often.
No. Like I said, the pace and with their, not going anywhere in fourth position there, and a goal up, they're just trying to keep things tight at the back and get through this game without getting injuries.
He does have an outside shot at the Golden Boot, being on 9 goals, just 2 off the pace set by Ruben Del Campo of Atletico Ottawa. Farron turning with it, cutting towards the middle. Still Farron, out wide to Rea. Rea, top of the box, flicks it in, headed away. Gimo has a chance to clear his lines, pushes it back. Marquez turning with it. Vincencini finally does clear his lines, but Probo takes over. Probo to Mateo. Mekidesh. Probo. Intercepted and picked off once again by Probo. Back to Dan Nimick. Coimbra. Quick ball ahead. Can they keep it in play? They do. And it's chested down. Vincencini having some trouble with it, but he finally does corral it after Baldissimo had gone awkwardly to play the ball off his chest.
Yeah, that was a little bit on the tight side. You see what he's trying to do. Chest it back the goalkeeper, and Vincencini just got there in front of the attacking player.
Free kick. The foul committed by the York United player. Against Bahia.
Halifax have had a couple of positions like this. Their delivery hasn't been the greatest. There's another opportunity to put ball into a dangerous area. Hopefully they get some quality or have a shot on net. This is a difficult one for the goalkeeper as well, because his positioning has to be a little bit deeper. He's going to have a 2-man wall, protect the near post.
Once again, Probo and Timoteo over the ball. See which one of the two will eventually take the set piece. Probo fakes it. Timoteo strikes it off the wall. Back to Probo. Back post, headed on. And cleared away. And York have a chance to break out. Kibato with it. It's out wide. Wojciechowski is just over top of his head, and coming out to claim it is Aiden Rashinas.
Halifax are committing so many people forward that they really are. York are at their most dangerous when Halifax actually has possession in their final third. They break very, very quickly and have had a couple opportunities off counterattacks.
Back to Higgins. Wojciechowski. Ramparsan challenging him. Came off the Halifax player last, so it'll be a throw-in to York United. Still 1-0 York United as we approach the hour mark. That goal coming very early on, after just 10 minutes. And it was as a result of an own goal by this man, Dan Nimick, who's coming forward now for Halifax, and his pass intended for Coimbra is broken up. Second wave for Halifax. Baya was dispossessed, but he chases back and wins the ball in a recovery. Well done from Clément Baya. Adekubi. Kibato. Elijah Adekubi once again. Marquez. I understand York is going to make another double substitution momentarily as they maintain possession here. Kibato. Long spell of possession for the visiting team right now. Cordova. Baldissimo. Coming towards the middle. Wojciechowski. Out wide to the right side for Cordova. Wojciechowski, and he was looking for the inside run from Gimo. It didn't come. Gimo just taking a while to settle into the pace of the match.
Yeah, he's a lively customer when he gets the ball and when he's on. That, you know, as a player so young, he's really is ahead of the game at this moment, in my opinion.
Coimbra fighting off the challenge from Higgins. Gets the ball across. It eludes Vincenzini. And coming out with it is Kibato.
It's one of those rare occasions where Halifax don't actually have somebody in that position because they are committing players forward.
Sean Rea, good opening here. Will there be a cross? It does come in. It's off a York United player. Down go two players inside the box. No call from the referee, play on. And York United will start a counterattack. Gimo trying to keep it in play. He just does. Gives it away.
Oh, he's fast.
Wins it back. Shola Gimo lays it off. Is there a shot? No, nothing coming there from Jorge Guzman, who went to ground. And he didn't trouble the goalkeeper whatsoever. The tempo starting to pick up in this match. End-to-end play. Sean Rea. Mekidesh. Back across to captain Andre Rapersad. Trinidad and Tobago International. Here's a pass. Little cross comes in, and there it is. It is the equalizer, and it is Massimo Ferrin, I believe, who is the last one to touch it, and Halifax have found the tying marker.
Initially here, I thought that ball should have been played in first time. You can see the runners wanting that ball on first time. He doesn't do it, but he still manages to get it back into a really dangerous position as the runners hold their position, get it half a yard from the York defenders, and really nice finish. Nice work all around. Finally get into that byline, cutting it back into a dangerous area.
Clément Baya providing the assist, and Massimo Ferrin puts it into the back of the net, and it is 1-1 as York make two additional substitutions. So Niall Higgins and Jorge Guzman come out. And Frank Stirring and Denis Solanovic come in. So more rotation from Benjamin Mora, the York United coach, as once again we remind you that as the number 4 seed, York United will be hosting the opening CPL playoff match against the number 5 seed on Wednesday night at 7:30 at York Lions Stadium.
And as it stands currently, Pacific would be that team.
About 20 minutes into the second half, Halifax have clawed their way back and found the tying marker through Massimo Ferrin. York looking for the answer quickly through Brian Wright, but out comes Rashinas to claim it. Well, 25 minutes to play in this match, but what are the odds that this match finishes 2-1, as every other match between these two sides has finished this season?
Well, we're gonna see chances for sure with 25 minutes or so left, plus time added. Both teams will have some chances. Nobody's defending overly except York. I mean, they're definitely in a position where they're just trying to contain them.
Good ball to send Timoteo through, but Vincenzini quickly off his line to collect and distribute quickly. Played back to Frank Stirring, who has gone in alongside Matthew Baldissimo in the back line for York. Ramparsad, Probo, Ferrin. Understand that the Wanderers are going to make a triple substitution momentarily, possibly in the next stoppage of play, as Probo puts the ball back into play. Marquez, Adekubi, wide to the left, Kibato.
Excellent defending.
Chimo couldn't get past the Halifax defender. Caused a foul. A little more life in the Halifax Wanderers supporters after that tying goal, as they urge their team on to find a second. Push on the back there from Massimo Ferrin, who is called for the foul. Ferrin, the Mississauga, Ontario native. Of course, a player who came to Halifax along with his coach Patrice Gaissar from the talent-rich Vaughan program here in Southern Ontario. Turning with it is Timoteo. Nimick. Ramparsad. Probo just weighing his options. Chooses to go forward. Filters a pass through. Diaz loses out. Wojciechowski plays a long cross It's headed away. Following up is Kibato. Atakubi asking for it. Marquez to Atakubi. Good through ball. Kibato in a good striking position, lays it out. Played back, shot, and I think that was tipped by the keeper as the shot came from just outside. Not sure it went to the end line. It did, actually, so it will be a corner kick for York United. As Aiden Rashinas was tested once again. Just a little over 20 minutes to play in the match. 1-1. In swinging corner, near post. Comes off the Halifax player Farron for a second consecutive corner for York United.
It's always a bit frustrating when you got a free clearance and put it back straight out for a corner again, but his job is near post protection.
Will they go short? Yes, they do. Gimo takes it back. Puts the cross into the box, but it's cleared out. Sean Rea under it. Baldissimo gets to it first. Baldissimo will have to play it a second time and plays it out of touch. And now we're going to see that triple substitution for Halifax as wholesale changes. And we're hearing that there's actually a fourth substitution. So wholesale changes for Patrice Gaysar. Probo, Diaz, and Rea all coming out. Ryan Telfer will be one of the players coming in, as well as Lorenzo Caligari and Camilo Vasconcelos.
Number 21, Jefferson Alphonse. And exiting the game, number 11, Vitor Diaz.
Hopefully that fresh energy will spark Halifax on a little bit here. The Yorker there for the taking, because obviously they got things to think about in the future and they're trying to get through this without getting injured. But Halifax and their coach also two-pronged, is that he's giving some minutes up to some other players as well, which is a good opportunity on the last game of the season to do so.
And just to finish up the substitutions, that fourth sub is Alphonse. Jefferson Alphonse, defender, and he will come on for Wes Timoteo. So 4 subs for Halifax, all coming in the 71st minute. And keep an eye on Ryan Telfer, who is a former York United player. In fact, first player to ever score a Canadian Premier League goal for York United back in 2019. There's number 7. So we'll see whether there's any adjustment in the Halifax formation.
It's got a bit of a friendly feel to it now, doesn't it? Last game of the season, kind of understand it.
Played out here for Jefferson Alphonse. Goes to ground, dispossessed by Shola Gimo. Vincenzini out wide. Marquez. Good ball in the direction of Gimo. Can't get to it though. Akidesh is first to it. And then a sliding Brian Wright puts the ball out of play. midfield is Kibato. Back to Adekubi. Dan Nimick. Stepping in front there was Adekubi. But Vasconcelos comes up with it. Just over 15 minutes to play. Still tied 1-1. Halifax finding that equalizer through Massimo Ferrin in the 63rd minute. See if the changes on both sides can spark an attack that will result in a game-winning goal. Mekidesh, player we featured in our CIBC spotlight earlier in the match. Algerian.
He's had a good game. You see why people hold him in high regard. Good profile. Reads the game well. Hasn't had an awful lot to do, but what he's done has been solid.
Ball stolen here, set up for Brian Wright. Wright trying to get past Mekidesh. Still a chance for Wright. And it is off the Halifax player and out for a corner.
You didn't let me down there. I thought just when you praised him up, I was like, oh, he's one-on-one, but he did very well again. He just squares up. Yeah, excellent defending, good body position, good shape.
Looks like Brian Wright may play the full 90. Of course, we don't have a lot of forward options on the bench as this shot sails high.
Canadian soccer fans, we're different. We cheer on the Reds while cheering out our motherlands and each other's lands. Cheers to us. Cheers to the game.
Just over 13 minutes still to play in this match as Halifax commits a foul.
Time to take out your 50-50 tickets. 50-50 ticket time.
Culprit.
50-50 ticket time. The winning payout today.
You see his frustration here a little bit.
Good number.
Just reaching out with his left arm to impede the runner.
He did a little bit. Feels a little bit hard done by.
And the winning ticket number is
Pleading his case to the referee to no avail. It'll be a free kick from the right of the goalkeeper. Yamin Mora, the York United coach, having a conversation with his technical staff. He does have one more substitution that he can make. Free kick comes in. It is deep. It is off the bar. It is headed back on. Great save. And a chance to clear. And Halifax will just get it out of danger. Caligari to Ramparsad. But it was a terrific opportunity for York to retake the lead as the ball hit the woodwork.
Yeah, was it ever? What a chance.
Struggle there from Cordova, trying to win the ball over the Halifax player, Alphonse. Right out to the left flank. And all the way back to Stirring. Decimo to Marquez. Wide right, Gimo. One-on-one. lays it off, misplaced, and Caligari takes over for Halifax. You can see he's wearing a cast on his right arm, Lorenzo Caligari. There's a pass. Wojciechowski pushed it a little too far, and Rushinis dives out to claim it. Well, here's a look at your All-State save of the match, and it was this sprawling save from Aiden Rushinis just after the ball had struck the woodwork. And he dives to his left and just gets a hand on it.
That was a really good save. Initially, the set piece that came in was headed about 3 yards, 2 yards off the line. I would want the goalkeeper to come there, but he doesn't, and he gets fortunate, but he doesn't give up on it, and he gets himself back into a position to make that second save and secure himself, because really, you want your goalkeeper to come and clean up inside the 6-yard box, and that in-swinger caused him some trouble.
So the Halifax substitute keeper, who's playing instead of Jan Filion, making that sprawling one-handed save to keep the game deadlocked at 1 apiece. We're under 10 minutes now to play at the Wanderers' grounds as darkness sets in on Halifax. Alphonse. Caligari slips and falls, and taking over for York United. Played across to Wojciechowski. It comes back. The cross comes in. Brian Wright just couldn't get his feet coordinated, but he was in an offside position in any case. And we're going to see a 5th and final substitution for York United, probably the next stoppage of play, as Coimbra comes in and walks it into the back of the net, taking advantage of Vincenzini coming well off his line. And the deadlock has been broken by Thiago Coimbra in the 82nd minute.
Well, that's fantastic for the fans of Halifax. It was a mistake. I've got to say that Vincenzini, who I've been praising about his starting position, he's been right up where he should be. Gets caught out here, absolutely in no man's land, and doesn't have the pace to get back. And in the end, it's the easiest of tap-ins. And that one's on the goalkeeper, unfortunately for Vincenzini. You could see how disappointed he was when he was sliding back toward the goal.
Yeah, just wasn't expecting Coimbra to take that first initial touch with his head to move it away from the keeper, and it opened up the space for him to find the opening and hit the back of the net as Halifax have come all the way back to take a 2-1 lead, and York United make their final substitution. Cordova comes off, Botello comes on to see if he can help salvage a result for York United in the final 7 minutes or so. Thiago Coimbra, the Brazilian. And here he comes again, and this time it's off the post and just wide. But less than 60 seconds after scoring, he had another chance to put the game away.
Oh, there's been lots of chances in this game. He looked as though he did everything right. Vincenzini does what he can to make himself as big as he possibly can. Big chance missed.
We should also mention that Coimbra did receive a caution for removing his jersey after scoring the goal. And that means that 5 players are now in the book of referee Baudouin. 2 from Halifax, 3 from York. Coimbra is the latest player to be shown the yellow. But don't think he'll mind, because his goal currently stands as the game-winning marker, as Van Veren will try it from distance, and this time Vincencini is in position to make a right-handed save.
So much better from Halifax, and a nice strike as well. Good save by Vincencini. Good height for him. Good work from Halifax.
He does give up the corner, however, and so the Wanderers will take this from the near corner flag. Lorenzo Caligari is over it with Ryan Telfer, a short option. In swinger from Caligari, headed out, and Gimo will collect and start a counterattack, and quickly Kibato is on the ball. Kibato trying to outrace the Halifax defender. Baya. Wojciechowski keeps it. Marquez. Atakubi. Atakubi again. Kibato. Marquez. Been a really consistent, reliable player, Marquez, for York, as he sets up the chance for Gimo. Kibato plays it across. Ball comes into the box, bounces off a couple of Halifax players. Telfer, and it's finally pushed across midfield. But York regained possession. Just over 3 minutes to find an equalizer for York United. Storing. Gimo, who's switched over to the left flank now after starting the half on the right side. Baldissimo. 2.5 to play, plus stoppage time. Can Halifax end this disappointing season with a win at home? Cross comes in, headed away by Rampersad. Botella. It's a return pass from Wojciechowski. Stirring. Out wide. Back to Stirring. Marquez. Botella. Trying to fight off the challenge of Alphonse. Atakubi out wide. Kibato back to Elijah Atakubi. Through the middle, Marquez has some room. Lays it out for Botello. Provides the cross, flicked high up in the air. It's there for the taking, and Rashinis has to dive to claim it. It slipped off his gloves initially.
Yeah, under a little bit of pressure from right. Goalkeeper's nightmare, really, when it's coming out of the sky like that and you've got time to back into the goalkeeper.
Play is stopped momentarily because Halifax player has gone to ground with an injury. And one final substitution to be made. And it is Thiago Coimbra, the goal scorer, who will come off to make way for Tavio Ciccarelli. The 18-year-old native of Winnipeg, Manitoba, Tavio Ciccarelli.
The fourth official at the sideline has indicated
And as we move into Bonbray extra time, the fourth official has indicated there would be 3 additional minutes, just a minimum of 3. So both head coaches have made their 5 substitutions now. Sliding away from Gimo. Can Halifax just ride the clock out now and take this 2-1 result to the finish line? Telfer. It was off the Halifax player last and out, so it's a throw-in, quickly taken. York has less than 2 minutes to find an equalizer. Out wide to Wojciechowski. Botello with a cross from the byline. Cleared away, and it will just stay in for a throw-in. Botello. Yet another throw-in for York. Less than 90 seconds still to play. 2-1 Halifax Wanderers. Telfer. Caligari glides away from Wojciechowski. Farron. Right into the path of the York United player. Botello. Wojciechowski slides it in. Cleared away. Time running out for York United. Vincenzini trying to restart the counterattack quickly. Throw in from the far side. Baldissimo. Botello. Wojciechowski pushed off the ball. Free kick for York United.
If Halifax can hold on here, they would jump up a couple spots, which is nice. They don't want to finish bottom of the table. They're sitting in the 6th spots as it presently stands. And Cavalry in the 89th minute took the lead over Valor, so they're comfortably at the moment in the 2nd place spot behind Forge.
We're beyond the minimum of 3 minutes, but we do have a free kick to be taken now. Botello gets the ball back, looking to cross. It's a deep one, and it is off the head of Atakubi and out. And there is the final whistle from the referee. And Halifax Wanderers have earned a home victory in the final match day of the season, thanks to Thiago Coimbra. And so, at full time from Wanderers grounds in Halifax, the final score is Halifax Wanderers 2, York United 1. Well, Halifax Wanderers finish up on a positive note. What was a disappointing season, having been eliminated from the playoffs last week, but they send their fans home content and satisfied after a 2-1 victory over York United.
It was a full house and great afternoon in Halifax, and they delivered in the end after being down a goal and coming back and winning that game. Absolutely brilliant for them, and the fans and the supporters deserve it. They really are what the league wants to be.
Well, let's have a look at our VW moment of the match, and it is the game-winning goal, and it was scored by Thiago Coimbra. And the pass came from Lorenzo Caligari. Coimbra just nudged it past the goalkeeper Vincenzini, who had committed himself and scored easily.
Yeah, he knew exactly where Vincenzini was too initially on the header. I think he might even try to knock it toward goal, but one way just needed to get it by him and give himself a tap in. Well played.
And we are pleased to be joined pitch side right now by the goal scorer, the player who scored the game-winning goal for Halifax Wanderers, and it is Thiago Coimbra. Thiago, congratulations on the victory today for your side, and congratulations on the game-winning goal. Give us an idea of how that goal came about. Lorenzo provided the pass for you, and then you just took a quick touch to get it away from the keeper.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's something that we've been working on all year, and every time he gets the ball, I know he's going to look for me, so I try to make those runs, just like that second time that I missed that he played me. But it's something that we've been working on all year.
Yeah, a positive result for your side after going behind early on in the match, and a couple of goals called back as well on the offside. Was it a bit frustrating for your team through the course of the first half, especially after finding the net twice but having both goals disallowed?
Yeah, for sure. It's very frustrating, but I mean, you know, when you go down and our season's pretty much already done, so all we could do is chase the game, you know, and try to do our best. And that's what we ended up doing, and thankfully we got the win.
We're going to take a look at your goal and describe it as you played it.
I mean, I can't see it right now, but Lorenzo played me, and I was going to take a touch of my chest, but the ball bounced, and it hit me in the head, and then I saw that the ball passed the keeper, so, you know, I just try to do my best to get at the end of it.
Yeah, well, congratulations once again, Thiago, on the victory and the game-winning goal. Well-deserved. Finishing up the season for Halifax Wanderers on a positive note, sending your fans home. Thank you so much, Thiago. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
All right, that was Thiago Coimbra with the pitch side interview. And for the entire crew on the ground in Halifax, and for Craig Forrest and the rest of the crew here at One Soccer Control, I'm Alto Blasses. Thanks for joining us today, and have a very pleasant evening.
At CIBC, we know that nothing feeds ambition like momentum. So no matter what your goals are, from starting a business to sending money back home, a conversation with us about your goals can set everything in motion. And once that ball of possibilities gets rolling, watch out, world.
Tony bet.
tonybet, get treated like a VIP. Bet on live games with odds on all sorts of sports. That's what you get when you bet with
tonybet.
Oh, Carol! Always the earliest holiday shopper.
It's Holly. Uh-oh.
You know who's gonna win?
Holly.
Carol.
What?
Carol.
No, Holly.
Get out of here.
Don't miss the Canadian Premier League final, Saturday, November the 9th at 3 p.m. Eastern, live on CBC.
Degree 72-hour non-stop protection. Antiperspirant with motion sense. Tested to the limit. Degree keeps working when others stop.
Hey, let's go somewhere beachy. I don't like sand. What? What about Cancun sand? It's so soft. Or maybe Caribbean white sand. Sure. Ooh, Costa Rican sand. It's got dolphins.
Costa Rica, then?
Yeah, Costa Rica.
Good choice.
It was all him.
With over 50 sunny destinations to choose from, we have a flight for that.